I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
Wait!
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Well. Welcome everybody to another boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. The host, your good friend Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. We've got a fantastic show for everybody here, because we've got a good fight this Saturday. Actually, we got two events this Saturday, if I remember correctly. We're going to get to all of that. You guys know the drill. We got to get to a couple of business ideas first here, a couple of things on the table. If you want to donate with the Super Chat feature, you're certainly welcome to do so. Send a couple of shekels our way. Of course, it's always better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. But the most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe, spread that BDA gospel. All right, fellas? Don't forget you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. All right, fellas? We always try to accommodate everybody here with the after show. In any event, shout out to everybody out there. I'm talking about Eparokua, Professional Troll. I am your leader in the house. Shout out to I am your leader. Shout out to Sergeant Z USMC. Shout out to SSC. Shout out to Hard Recoil. Iron Balls McGuinty. Official scorecard in the house saying salute dogs. Salute right back. He's got that dog. Official's got that dog inside of him. Shout out to Padja. Eduardo Joel Soto. Rapax Rocking Company in the house as well. Shout out to Rapax. Shout out to Jaguar. Hadn't seen him in a while. Super Sardonic. Will the Degenerate Boxing Fan. Bernard. Who else? We got two Matador. I saw two Matador. Speaking of spreading the gospel, he was spreading the gospel of the Guatemalans. Shout out to Eric Rosas, 1 foot out the door. Good to see him on board as well. King Bucho in the house. The Quags. Team Batman. No, excuse me. Who is it? Team Batman Boxing. How many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you having you on board. Well. Boxing is starting to pick up a little bit in this, what is this, the last week of January? Yes, it is. So we're going to see what happens. On Saturday. We've got Artur Beterbiev, the only one of the few fighters in boxing who can be called a monster. But is that monster about to be slain on Saturday as he faces a physical specimen on Saturday? We're going to talk about all of that plus more. A couple of comical news, not topical, comical news or comic news in the headlines here. So we're going to get through all of that. But first, we're going to be opening up the phone lines as well later on, as always. Don't forget, so stay tuned for that. All right, let me call a couple of people here, move a couple of contacts, see what we can work with, and then we'll get started with the shenanigans here, with the hijinks of the highest order. Hold on a second. I don't know if Butcher's going to show up here. He usually saves his energy for the Open Lines Friday. Hold on a second. Okay. So, yeah, hey, listen, I want to start off with stylistic matchups, though. Because, people usually say, styles make fights, but they don't elaborate, right? But I think in this scenario, the style could play a factor in this potential, Beterbiev Yarde fight. Could potentially play a factor. I don't know. But we're going to get to all of that. I see we got the Jim Marino on the line. Jim Marino, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry about the bad connection. I'm on my way home right now.
You're taking the wheels for a spin, huh?
Actually, I'm stuck in the older car.
Oh, come on. What the fuck?
Same year, but yeah, no, the wife's got it.
Well, oh, the wife's got Oh, hold on. Where's my whipping sound effect here? Hold on. I don't have it. Anyway, you're the man, Jimmy. You're supposed to be riding that ride. You bought it. You paid for it. I think. I don't know. I don't want to get into those details. But anyway, listen. You let me know when you're ready. Unless you want to give your take now on Beterbiev Yarde. Yarde.
Well, if you can hear me, yeah, no, I think Beterbiev will take care of business. I think he's going to stop him. I think he's going to be too much. It's too hard both hands. He's going to just overwhelm him with his power. Although Yarde's, like you said, a big, strong dude, I just think that Beterbiev, even though he's 40 years old, is still so technical sound that he can make up for his age with his technique. And I think he'll go on to stop him. If not, it doesn't bode well. It also blow up the Beville fight with Beterbiev. But yeah, I think that's my prediction. I think that he's going to stop probably the 6th or 7th round.
Well, that's a sensible prediction. I mean, that's the standard one. There's nothing wrong with that. And I would go with that one too. My thing is, when we talk about styles making fights, the guys that beat Yarde were longer guys who could jab. Sergey Kovalev at one point had one of the best jabs in boxing. Even fucking Lyndon Arthur, the guy who beat him later on, had a good jab as well, and he was able to sneak his way to a decision. What I liked about Yarde in the rematch, however, and this is something that I respect a lot from fighters like him, is that he said, okay, I couldn't get past him, boxing from the outside, being cute and being slick. I'm going to take the fight to him. Something I'd never seen him do against a guy like Arthur, and he took him out. Now, of course, granted, there's a big difference between a Kovalev, a Beterbiev, and an Arthur. But he's getting there. He's showing a new wrinkle, adding new wrinkles to his game, and I got to respect that. Like you said, Jimmy, he's also a big dude, 6 feet tall. God knows what he walks around with. He looks huge. He looks like a football player, and he can crack. Now, here's the other thing. Beterbiev is not a jabber. He's a different type of style. He likes to go in there, get at the mid-range, and launch uppercuts and hooks. And he likes to take his time. Now, I got to tell you, I was rewatching the Enrico Coiling fight. I think I got the name right. From about, it's going to be 6 years ago. That was a famous fight in which Mark Kriegel and Teddy Atlas kept going back and forth. Actually, it was Teddy Atlas more than anything else, bullying Kriegel. But in any event, Beterbiev looked flat in there. And I know he wasn't flat. I think he was just being his patient self. He didn't see an opening against a well-schooled, strong fighter. And he seemed a little hesitant. So I'm thinking, this guy, look, he's not invincible. Anybody can be taken out. Now, he's a monster. He's very tough. He hits hard. He's well-schooled as well. But he's 38 years old as well. And he trains like an animal, apparently. So I'm wondering if perhaps there is an upset. I saw on Twitter there's people placing bets on Yarde. So we're going to see what happens. By the way, excuse me, I forgot to read a couple of super chats here. Shout out to Jaguar. He says, I survived the coup feed. Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. Hope you're feeling better. And, take it one day at a time. Because when I got, the last time I got sick, it took me a couple of days to mentally clear the fog for some reason. But you'll be all right, man. Shout out to Plutonium Loach for his contribution with the super chat. He says, I see the fight playing out like Canelo versus Kirkland. Yarde pressing, but getting brutally knocked out by Beterbiev in the 4th or 5th round. Oh, well, there you go. We're getting some predictions in right now. Jimmy, try to look at it from the other side of the coin. What does Yarde have to do to get himself a win, pull off the upset on Saturday?
Don't let Beterbiev get into a rhythm. Don't let him get into his rhythm at all. Like, just do awkward shit. Make the fight boring, make it messy. Do whatever you have to do. Don't let him get into a rhythm. Let him get into his rhythm. He's just eventually going to stalk him down and take him out. So, like you said, I would try to stay at distance because that's not Beterbiev's strength, like you said. Throw the, stick at him, clinch anytime they're close. I know we hate it, the clinching, but I would advise him strongly, especially in the first 4 rounds when Beterbiev's power is at, maximum capacity. because that kid can crack with both hands, and regardless of the punch, he's going to put some stink on it. So, yeah, I would definitely just, he has to make it erratic, do whatever he has to do, don't let him get the rhythm.
Well, to piggyback off of what you and Plutonium said in the chat, I see it going a little bit like this. I see Yarde thinking, okay, I'm going to stay on the outside a little bit early on, see what he's got, see how he's going to try to pressure me. And then eventually, whether he gets hurt or whether he starts feeling the pressure, he might do that. He might start fighting, not head-to-head, mind you, clinch to clinch, chest to chest. I could see him just trying to frustrate Beterbiev. And even though Beterbiev is a strong guy, he's built like an ice cube. He's like a glacier in there. Very hard to move. I think out of desperation, that's something that Yarde might try to do. What else was I going to say about that? Well, I got a couple of things here from the boxing world. Yeah, so supposedly there's news out there, excuse me, because I was reading the headline here. There's news that supposedly Beterbiev is angry going into this fight. Now, that's according to Callum Johnson. I don't know what that's about. He says, again, this is just Callum Johnson's perspective, so I don't know where he's getting it from, but he says, he seems angry. Having an angry Beterbiev is not a good combination, to be fair. Arthur speaks better English than I thought he did, and he says, what is your point, said Johnson, about Beterbiev asking the interviewer what he was driving at when he informed him that Alexander Usyk had given Yarde advice on how to defeat him. Okay, so I guess Callum Johnson's extrapolating the fact that maybe Beterbiev is in a bit of a bitter mood coming into this. Beterbiev had close to 300 amateur fights. If he was burned out, I say from the last performance, he didn't look anywhere near burned out. Yeah, of course, that stands to reason. But listen, I like Beterbiev outside the ring. I like the fact that I think I saw a quote from him somewhere where he said, they asked him about his power. He says, I don't think I hit that hard. He says, I think it's more or less by accident. And I said, you know what? That's an interesting contrast when you compare him to, say, Keith Thurman, who was going on and on about how hard he hits. I mean, I remember a video from Keith Thurman where he's sitting in the punching bag and he's talking at the same time. You know, it was like trying to pull a Mayweather in front of the press. He goes, the way you punch, the way you turn your punches over, it's mathematics. I go, shut the fuck up, man. What are you doing? Just play the flute, show us your books, the satanic books, and just move on, man. Don't try to explain to us how hard you hit and the mathematics and the physics of it. So I like Beterbiev, a humble guy from humble beginnings. And so, yeah, I don't think Yarde is getting under his skin one bit. Now, Jimmy, here's an interesting thing from Yarde coming into this fight. Some of the things he said. Let me read you the quote here. He said, when I start putting an assault on people, there's no one in this world that's going to take it. We're all human beings. If I get in the range and I'm hitting you often, the fight ain't going to go too much longer, he said. I know that for a fact. And then Yarde said. Jimmy, I remember Yarde having Kovalev in trouble and not being able to take him out. So that right there disproves what the fuck he's saying. But does that quote lead you to believe that maybe Yarde knows that his power has to be the big factor here? It is like he's acing the hole to beat Beterbiev?
Well, I would think the fact that best suit for him is his youth, well, his age. Younger, you know what I mean? He's going up against 38-year-old legs. I don't think he punches any harder than Beterbiev. In fact, if I was to say...
oh, shit. Sorry about that. We lost the Discord connection. What the fuck? I'll reestablish it. Don't worry about it. Back in a jiffy.
Form. I'm talking about in the ring, delivering a punch in the proper way. Yeah, Beterbiev hits harder. And he throws straighter punches, too.
Yeah, I lost you there for a little bit in the beginning, but I got the gist of what you're saying. And I agree, man. I mean, Yarde, you get the impression that Yarde hits hard, just pure talent. But Beterbiev, can you hear me, by the way, Jimmy?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I wasn't sure I saw something here. But anyway, yeah, but you get the impression that Beterbiev actually maximizes his power through technique as well. And the interesting thing about that, Jimmy, also is that Beterbiev, although he never medaled in the Olympics, I don't think he went to the Olympics. He lost to Usyk. He didn't medal, but he gave Usyk a super hard fight in those Olympics. I know a lot of people often talk about the World Championships. That's the other fight they had. But in the Olympics, he was pressuring Usyk. If it wasn't for Usyk's conditioning in that fight, he doesn't make it past the 12. It's past the 12. He doesn't make it the distance in that Olympic fight. Obviously, skills and all that. Look, skills isn't enough, man. You saw what happened to Gvozdyk when he stepped in there against Beterbiev. Which is, again, another weird thing, because when Beterbiev fought Enrico Coiling and he looked so-so, a little bit too patient, even the crowd was booing and all that, you were thinking, okay, so how is this guy going to beat Gvozdyk? And lo and behold, he looked better than Gvozdyk. And at least Enrico Coiling, he every once in a while he would load up and he would crack Beterbiev with a big shot. And I think that's what maybe made Beterbiev a little hesitant to just go all out in there. Whereas right against Gvozdyk, he said, all right, I've already fought this guy in the amateurs. I know what he's about. I know what type of power he has. I can take it. I'm just going to take my time, but open up a little bit more. And so that's what happened. So Yarde talking about that, I don't know, man. It seems, hopefully he's not just banking on his power. Let me read a couple of chats here, comments from the chat. Zechariah? I don't know how you say that name. Sorry, man. It says, Marco Brown was an Olympian with much better pedigree than Yarde. That's another good point right there. Marcus Brown, much more skilled than Yarde, at least technically, from a technical standpoint. And, sheesh, he got the crap beat out of him. Jaguar says, Beterbiev is a bear. Alan R, shout out to Alan, says Beterbiev has detailed anatomical files on Yarde, like a doctor, like a spy. Bernhard says he also beat Usyk in 2008. One of the 15 losses to Beterbiev, but 2 of the 335 wins are against him as well. Well, there you go. There you go. So Beterbiev, you gotta remember, he was a darling of the Russian amateur team. It wasn't Kovalev, it was Beterbiev. That's how good he is. And yes, his professional career has taken a bit of a hit in activity, promotional issues, bada bing, bada boom, but he's here now against Yarde. By the way, Beterbiev also very smart, or his management, the promotion, whatever, very smart, saying, okay, look, let's make this fight in England. There's no need to make it in the US, no need to haggle and say, well, no, we got to do it in Russia, baby. The United Kingdom, that's where the party's at. And that's where the party's going to be this Saturday. Where is it again? It's at the Saturday, Wembley Arena. Oh, London, UK. Expect to see a lot of drunks dancing in that one. Nothing better than that, man. Let me tell you. What else do we got here about that? Anthony Yarde says Artur Beterbiev won't be able to take his assault. Yeah, that's what I was reading earlier. Now, here's another interesting thing, Jimmy, about this fight. You remember fucking Yarde's trainer, right? Or one of his trainers, Tunde Johnson, I believe is his name. Is a big fat guy that trains him, and oftentimes gets in the ring with him to do some sort of weird sparring. Well, in any event, he was talking with Ring Magazine, and he had this to say about some of the things he learned from the Kovalev fight. Hold on a second. Yeah, he had some things to say about... Oh, hold on a second. We got a super chat incoming. Will the Degenerate Boxing Fan Lynch. Shout out to Will the Degenerate Boxing Fan Lynch. He has this to say. He says, Yarde, the E is silent, not Yarde. Well, I'm having conflicting information. Some people tell me it's Yarde. Some people tell me it's Yarde. I'm going to call him whatever I want now. How about that? Anyway, he says it's silent. Yarde is an Jamaican gangbanger. Better be careful. I don't see Yarde having a better feat than Artur. Yeah, it's hard to find things that he does better than Artur Beterbiev. Perhaps maybe he's more explosive, more athletic. But like somebody else mentioned earlier, it's not like he's more athletic than or mobile than, say, Marcus Brown. So no, I agree with you, Will. Thank you for your super chat, man. Really appreciate it. And yes, it could still be a good fight, though, nevertheless, depending on how Beterbiev looks or shows up, rather. So anyway, I was saying this, man, about Yarde's trainer, that he learned a lot from Yarde's losses. And he had this to say. First thing is, you've not heard from me as much as you did in the run-up to Russia. So that is the key, he said. Ant was praising me today because he said I'm just different. My energy is just different. And it's something that he's feeding off of, and it's brilliant. I don't know how that's brilliant, but the quote continues. In the past, I felt I needed to talk. I needed to be heard, that Anthony wasn't being given the respect that he deserved, and I was really the mouthpiece for that. Looking back, I see how cool, calm, and collected Buddy McGirt was training Kovalev. He wasn't even at the press conference, and he was in the crowd. And I remember looking at him thinking, you're supposed to be up here. You're supposed to be up here defending or talking up your guy and everything like that. But again, it's experience. And speaking of experience, here's the other thing I haven't seen much of. And this is something that we used to seeing a lot of. This. Dundee Johnson there, the shirtless black guy, sparring Yarde. And I mean, I don't know if you could call it sparring. He's fucking hitting him with the mitts on. Which, I mean, it's not exactly a boxing glove. The angle's all wrong. You actually could maybe scratch a guy's eye with that. And see, that's what they're doing right there. So no more of that. Jimmy, what do you think about that? About trainers like Dundee? That's why he used to get in the ring with him. That's why he was talking a lot in the press conference. Like, it's almost like he wants to be the star as well. And now he's taking a step back. What do you think about that? Should trainers be more old school and just stay shut and not try to get too involved in the promotional aspect?
Yes. Personally, yes.
And what do you think about this dude there sparring his own fighter wearing boxing mitts instead of boxing gloves?
Well, if he's young enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he used to be an ex-fighter or something. So that way he was trying that off. But in any event, man, listen. This fight is going to be interesting. Like I said, Beterbiev's not a jabber. He's actually shorter than Yarde. And even though Yarde doesn't move as much as Marcus Brown, he hits harder than Marcus Brown. Even though, of course, Marcus Brown could crack a little bit himself. But Yarde, even though he hasn't been beaten the most stellar of opposition, he still hit cracks, man. And like I said, I have it on good authority. Beterbiev is a guy that trains like a maniac. And at his age, maybe you're supposed to dial it down a little bit. That's why he didn't fight the rest of the year in 2022. He was injured. Now his promoter or his manager, I forget which one, said, no, people are exaggerating the injury. Okay, maybe they're exaggerating. Fucker didn't fight the rest of 2022 after he beat Smith Jr. So what are we doing here? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to be at 100%? Questions to ask, questions to ponder. What are people in the chat saying? Jaguar says, Yarde will be 2 yards underground. Oh! I see that Kufi didn't take anything off his humor. Padja says Yarde will get executed. He has no chance. I don't like what I'm hearing from you, fellas. No chance. That's a portend to an upset, I believe. Not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah,
but,
I see a lot of people with that sentiment that they don't think this dude's got a shot.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of other people saying, hey, they're putting a little money on Yarde. If there's one fight to put money on, this is the type of fight. You got a young guy going. By the way, Yarde, again, limited amateur career, but he's in his physical prime right now. Doesn't take much to pull this type of upset when you have the physical talent he has.
Well, what's the Vegas line? Because that's probably the reason why you see people throw money on it. If it's so wide that it's financially advantageous to bet on him, I could see people doing that.
That's a good question, man. I don't know what the line is. I'm not familiar. I don't know, but let me check though. Actually, what the fuck am I talking about here? I can check. Let's see. Beterbiev, Yarde, betting line. What do we got? Artur Beterbiev is the heavy favorite at minus 800. Oh, so he's an 8-1 favorite. 8-1 favorite. Listen. We've seen upsets being pulled wider odds. So, I don't know. I also don't think, like Alan R says, this might look like Beterbiev versus Smith. If Yarde jumps at Beterbiev straight away, it's going to make for an entertaining fight, but it's also going to, like Alan says, it's going to look like the Smith fight. I think Yarde has to mix it up, man, obviously. He has to be a little bit on the outside, a little bit on the inside, a little bit on the outside. And when I say that, I'm talking all the way inside. Not at the mid-range, because again, that's where Beterbiev excels. You stand at the mid-range with him. And by the way, if by the 5th round we see Yarde staying on the ropes and spending a lot of time there, you're going to know, okay, it's just a matter of time before Beterbiev takes him out. But if he can hold the center of the ring, like Coiling did, Enrico Coiling, or even Gvozdek for us to a certain extent, then we might get a little, things might spice up a little bit. But I'm looking forward to that fight. It's an entertaining fight on paper. Both guys can crack at least. You just never know what's going to happen in boxing. Hey, how many people predicted Liam Smith to knock out Chris Eubank Jr.? Not a lot, huh? Not a lot. If somebody had predicted that, I would have heard about it. Believe me, the contacts I got, the cells that we have all over the place would have come to my ears, but they didn't. So what are we talking about here? Alan Arce's Beterbiev will hurt him in the clinch. That's the other thing, though. Beterbiev is very strong. The quack says Yarde needs to stay off the ropes. The ropes is a death sentence. That's right. It could be a death, especially in the industry too. If you're in the, the more hectic, hardcore area where they're using ropes, around the private area and all that, could be a death sentence if the person's not experienced and they don't know what they're doing. 1 foot at the door says 100%. Dennis from Boston, shout out to Dennis, says if you bet on Yarde, it's only 4-1. Well, I mean, only. Some of these people are big players, Dennis. Some of the people in our community, they got money to burn, and they're not adverse to risking it for a big return. They're willing to risk it, let me tell you. I met a couple of them during my lifetime here in the YouTube boxing community. So, man, I'm telling you, man, it's an interesting fight. And I'm curious to get people's predictions, too, on that one in the chat. Although I already get the idea or the impression that most of you are going with Beterbiev. So, we'll see, man. But it's going to be interesting. Also, this Saturday, unless I'm mistaken, I think Alexis Rocha, they call him Rocha, but it's Rocha. Anyway, he's fighting. And he's going to be fighting in Inglewood, California, in the Zone. So that's going to be a good little Saturday, man. We've got a fight in the evening over here on ESPN Plus, and then we got the Zone card later on at night. You also got Floyd Schofield taking on Alberto Mercado, and Oscar Collazo is taking on Wilfredo Mendes. Now, who's fighting on the undercard here of Beterbiev? Bunch of domestic level guys, I think, or a bunch of broads? Let me check. That's always in England. They always get broads fighting. Moses Ituma versus Marcel Bode. No, wait a minute. That can be. Artem Dalakian versus David Jimenez for the flyweight title. Then they fucking... What the fuck? Carlos Itauma. Oh, there's two Itumas. Versus Ezekiel Osvaldo Maderna. Isn't that the Argentinian dude that lost to Beterbiev a while back? I think he is. Or I think that is. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. Olo Wallin is fighting this Friday, I believe. The heck's up with that? Taking a tune-up, 8-rounder. And he says, I think I saw an article where he says he wants to take a tune-up and then get bigger fights on the stretch, obviously. Hey, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really help us out here. All right, fellas? Jimmy, are you there, by the way? Let me know when you're available.
Well, I'm here.
You're still in your car?
I'm just not at the house yet, so you probably can't hear me too well.
Well, let me show you something here. Moving on from the Beterbiev fight here for just a moment. If Gonzalo jumps back in, we'll go back into it, or when we get to the Vunkels. But I wanted to show you a little something here that I found on Twitter, and that's Deontay Wilder was talking with Ellie Sackback yesterday, and people are pointing out that he had this to say in regards to fighter pay.
Another thing we're going to change about these fighters, about getting this money. Stop getting this money when it's over. You got to pay me after the time the fight is over with. That's what other fighters got to get to, too. Waiting and all that. Because any other business shit, after the job done, we want your money. We ain't want to wait no month or 2 weeks or 3. We need it now. That's another thing that needs to be changed.
All right, now, I don't know if you understood that because he sounds a little punch drunk, but he's saying that we need to change. One of the things they need to change in boxing is these fighters not getting paid right away. Now, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Top Rank, I know they pay people right away. Golden Boy, well, there was one discrepancy I think I heard of out of 100.
That was a PBC. That was a specific to the PBC. But he didn't want to come out and say PBC because he's under a non-disparagement clause. So he had to be, they have to speak in generalities and vague, cryptic language. But he's talking about the PBC. I mean, Broner's established it. Many people have already talked about that. He defers payment. You get a third of it, and then you start, whatever, slaps it onto you. But that's exactly what he's talking about, Al Heyman.
Now, that you could also tie that to the Terence Crawford-Spence fight, where they were talking about no guarantee, right?
Yeah, there was no guarantee. I know some people like to say there was, but it's so funny because on November 1st, 2022, Instagram Live video, Terrence came out and said, at no time was I offered any money. Of course, a bunch of Spence apologists and whatnot went on to say, oh, that's not true, man. He was offered money. And then it's funny because they don't have the intelligence to, actually look at everything because the following day, November 2nd, Spence put out a tweet responding, motherfucker, you act like you taking all the risk. I didn't have a guarantee either. So it's like, wait a minute. So Crawford's saying there was no guarantee. Spence is verifying that. It's just the apologists have to keep running their mouth because they can't stand the fact that, Spence fought and chose to fight anyone other than Crawford.
I mean, that's that. There you go, right there. Which is bizarre because a lot of boxing fans talk about money and about negotiations. That's fine, but a lot of people also use the money to sort of prop up their fighter. Like, well, my fighter, he makes this amount of money. Your favorite fighter doesn't make shit, and blah blah blah. And they use that. Now we've got a lot of instances from different boxers willing to fuck off with the non-disclosure agreement and saying, hey, I'm not getting paid here. The PBC is not conducting business on good faith. Where are all these people defending these fighters? Where are these YouTubers, LDBC and all that, who are pro-PBC and they're pro-Wilder, they're pro-Tank Davis? Where are they when it comes to these fighters not getting paid right away and sometimes taking weeks to get the money, or they get it in advance? Or, I mean, in segments, they get it in allowances as if they were prostitutes. Where are they? It seems like they only care when they receive money from the PBC, if that's the case. But hey, everyone else can fuck off. I don't give a shit about the fighters, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not saying these PBC guys are getting, these LBC guys are getting paid money by the PBC, but it seems like when these guys don't even care about their favorite fighters not getting paid. I mean, I care in the sense that
not like Big Dan.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, not like Big Dan Raphael. That fucking dude is completely sold out. So funny. You see that tweet the other day? It said it posted about one of the things. When he was back with ESPN, he said, one thing about Al Heyman, most places, if they don't talk to media, they'll have somebody do it for them. Not with Heyman. There's no information, no transparency, basically just a quote of slamming Al. But now he's tagging in Steven Espinoza to make sure. You see me get on these guys? When he lied about Barrios, Isaac Cruz and Tank selling 225,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah, it seems like that's it's the audition. They want to see if he puts in the work, as they say in the streets, and really licks that ass, that PBC ass, and then they're going to give him something. I mean, look, I have sympathy for a guy like Dan Rayfield. It's hard to make a living as a writer, a boxing journalist, whatever, boxing scribe. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to go all out and let them put their dick in your ass. But that seems like what he's doing, man. And it's a shame because this guy used to be respected. And now he's losing that respect. Then again, he probably doesn't care as long as he's getting paid, which if that's the case, then we know what you're about. You're all just about the money. And again, it's interesting. Like I said, I don't really care about the fighters getting paid. I mean, as long as they get paid, I go, okay, fine, they're supposed to get paid. I don't haggle about the money and all that, but it is weird. That's all I'm saying. It's weird that these guys who do care about the money and always talk about it day in, day out on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, I don't hear a peep about their favorite fighters not getting paid straight away. As long as they eat, everything's okay. And they eat a lot, by the way. A lot of those guys are fat for some reason. But everyone else can go fuck themselves. So weird, bizarre, and I don't like it. But hey, what can I do? It's out of my control. Hey, Uncle Pete, I sent you the invite. Hopefully you see it. And don't forget, we're going to be opening up the phone line soon. Jimmy, another thing here, weird thing. Deontay Wilder, I think it was in that same interview. They asked him, who wins Usyk Fury? And he says, whoever cheats the most. Or whoever cheats best, or something like that. I'm butchering the quote. What do you think about that? Why is Wilder...
Well, yeah. Indicating that Usyk has cheated, right? You would have to take, if someone, completely foreign to these guys was just to read that quote, you would say to yourself, wow, this guy Usyk must be a known cheater for him to disparage him in such a way. When there's nothing, there's no indication at any time, any way did Usyk ever cheat. And that's because Wilder can't deal with the fact he got his ass whooped by a big, doughy white guy. And he cannot fucking, it eats him up at night, keeps him awake at night. He stares at the ceiling, fucking weeping into his pillow.
Jimmy knows how to paint an image, I gotta tell you. I mean, listen, it's hard to disagree. If anybody would want to disagree, how can you disagree with that? That the way he's been carrying on since those two beatdowns, and the fact that he didn't want to give him shake his hand after the fight. Oh, I don't respect you. I don't respect you. You can't respect other people. You can't respect yourself. That's what Jesus said, I think, or something like that.
I don't need you to respect me, dude, because I just beat you like you owed me money.
That's right. That's right. And we also got an inkling of his fans, how they feel as well. Maybe he feels like their fans when they said, remember that? I don't want these wild motherfuckers thinking they got one over us. Fuck, man. Get over it. It's boxing. It's not about race. They're the ones making it about race.
Well,
and then
he's the one who he said that, it's good that fight was happening. The second fight, remember when Hall or Hale or whatever the guy's name is, he's one of those race hustler reporters, and he's always, tying racing to, in some way, he figures a way to tie race into it. But he asked him, the significance of fighting him on Black History Month. And, Wilder went on to explain how it was very significant that it was happened, and it was going to be remembered as such, as a black man beating a white man, and, a white champion on Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Fury's turn to speak, he went on to say, it's ridiculous. I don't know why you're even asking that. It has nothing to do with it. It's two men in the ring fighting. And as he was saying that, Wilder was off to the side, shaking his head in disgust that Fury wouldn't make it about race. So that tells you everything about that class.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. You want more? I mean, it's overkill. I'm sorry. I can't believe this guy still has fans, by the way. But they're talking a lot about Ruiz versus Wilder. Apparently, that fight really will get made. The way they're talking about it, the way it's fermenting in the public eye. And now I understand why Wilder was talking a lot about Joshua. Talking about how, Joshua's scared of me. He don't want none of this. It's still the same playbook that he was using 5 years ago. Every time he would negotiate a fight, he would bring up Joshua, knowing full well that he wasn't going to fight him. But then again, bringing up Joshua's name gets a lot of eyes on his mismatches. And that's what happens. And I think that's what's going on with Andy Ruiz here. I got to tell you, that Ruiz fight, it looks good. Then you got to wonder, though, if Wilder beats Ruiz, what's next for him? He would have to fight somebody outside the PBC, because I don't think the PBC has anybody else left. Any good heavyweights, do they? Unless I'm mistaken. Somebody help me out here.
Frank Sanchez. Well, they got the Cuban Frank Sanchez. If they wanted to force him to death.
Yeah. And Frank Sanchez probably beats him on top of that. So that'd be like a Canelo Bivol situation right there, man. It wouldn't be the biggest fight, and then on top of that, you got a guy that's going to outbox him. So better stay away from old Frank Sanchez.
I believe he retires after his next big payday. I think that's what he's looking for. I think he's looking for one more payday before he punches his ticket.
Yeah, man. I mean, he needs to listen. He needs to step back in the streets and twerk. He needs to go back to the streets and twerk in front of a bunch of people. And I said this before the other day. De La Hoya was trolling people on Twitter yesterday. He's talking about how I need to fit in a thong, he said. What's the best way to lose weight to fit in a thong? People are like, man, motherfucker. I like De La Hoya's spirit, man. He's owning the fact now that he was caught with women's clothes on. And I got to tell you, look, he was doing cocaine. He was with a fucking whore in a hotel room. At least he was with a woman. You look at these PBC guys, Tank Davis and Adrian Broner making out in a club. You see Errol Spence with another rapper trying to make out with him. Deontay Wilder in 3 separate occasions twerking in front of a bunch of men while they're hooting and hollering at him. The only thing that was missing was them throwing dollar bills at him. That to me is suspect. De La Hoya getting coked up and partying and going on a bender with a whore, a female at least. Hey, yeah, I don't condone it. I'm a good Christian man. But hey, he's living that lifestyle. What do you want from me? Live and let live. And these people
like you said,
idolize...
at least he's with a broad.
Exactly. These people that idolize Wilder and Tank Davis and Errol Spence, they should take a note of that. Live and let live. Because your guys, they're not that much better. In fact, they're worse. But what else was I going to say? So yeah, but Jimmy, what do you think about that? Just break it down a little bit. The Wilder-Ruiz fight. How would you see that one going? I can't hear you, Jimmy. You're breaking up.
Oh, really? Okay. Shit. I'll be home in like 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Better make it 2.5 minutes. Otherwise, I'm kicking you off the panel, man. Sorry. No special treatment, man. Not even for you.
Well, I'm just going to locate one of the sleeper cells and we'll do something on our own.
All right. All right. Well, listen, I'll give you, take your time, 5 minutes, whatever. I'll hold down the fort here. Somebody's asking me in the chat, making out? Yeah, man. There's one where there's a video, I'm not going to play because I've played a million times, where Broner looks, Tank Davis is holding Broner and he's sitting from behind, on his back, like a couple. Then Broner looks at him and puckers his lips, and Tank Davis was actually going to go for the kiss. And then he realized he's on camera. He goes, he starts laughing it off, like, we're just a bunch of cowboys rustling up a little joke. Sounds like you're rustling up more than a joke, let me tell you. Sounds like you're rustling up a hard on. Nice big old cock.
What's the punchline of that one?
Well, I mean, there's no real punch. I was just rambling. What's up, Pete?
What's up, boys? Fellas?
What's on your mind, man? You want to add something to this?
Jimbo, what's up, dude?
All right, listen. So how many times are you gonna say hello? What's on your mind, Pete? What do you think about all this, man? All these hijinks going on.
Hi, how are you? No, let me just ask a question. What did Deontay? I've seen that. By the way, I'm doing something right now that Dan Raphael has never done in his life.
Uh-oh.
I'll just leave it at that.
What, you're fasting?
Eating a salad. I don't mean to fucking salad.
Really. Come on now.
But in all seriousness, what did Deontay Wilder do? I keep seeing that thumbnail of him giving that interview. What was the big deal? He said he's getting shorted money.
He's not getting his money right away. Not 1 day, not 2 days after the fight, like weeks after the fight.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man. I mean, but that's my point. That's what I was saying. All these guys that are defending Deontay Wilder and about the money and this and that. But then when he comes out, and other fighters come out saying, "Yeah, we're not getting paid." Well, they got nothing to say about that. Silent.
Yeah, man. Where's Al at? Al lost his checkbook.
I mean, does he even have a checkbook?
Goddamn, if he's not getting paid, holy shit, if he's not getting paid. Yeah, think about your average one of them, if you know what I mean. Like, they're probably way slow on the payment. Don't you think?
I would think so, man. I mean, I remember when Kelly Pavlik fought Jermaine Taylor back in 2007, and he misplaced the check. $600,000 check. I don't know how you misplaced that, but he misplaced it, and I think the cleaning woman found it, Rosa. She says, "Is this your check, Mr. Pavlik?" And he said, "Yes, thank you, Rosa." Maybe give her a little tip. I don't know. But see, he had the check the day after the fight when they were leaving the hotel. These motherfuckers aren't getting paid weeks later, man. What's that about?
Oh yeah, you get your check cut that night. There's a form, at least in Las Vegas. I know it's widely just there's a bunch of photographs of it. The commission hands them out, and there's what each check should be, and there's a spot for a manager, an advisor, the promoter, and then the fighter. I mean, you sign for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when your cleaning lady's driving around in an Escalade, you got to fucking ask some questions,
Exactly. There you go. You don't carry a check around when you're doing that.
Hey, Mr. Kelly.
I mean, listen, Pete, even in the industry, people will get paid right on the money. Yeah, as it should be. People will get paid, man. He was professional. This?
Right after the pop?
Like right after the fuck. Well, I mean, depends on what you were doing. But yeah, man, that's exactly, yeah. It was professional. When the industry is actually more professional than boxing, then we have a problem. Big old problem. Speaking of having to pay the bills here, let me just real quick. Shout out to Will, the degenerate boxing fan Lynch. He says, if you can explain why a fighter would turn down $100 million for one fight with a rematch clause, let me know. The PBC politics is real, sadly. Absolutely, Will. You're preaching to the choir here, man. It's the Lord knows what they're doing over there at the PBC. Pete, moving on from the money issues, what do you think about a Ruiz-Wilder fight? How would that one go down?
I'm not so high on Andy Ruiz, you know what I mean? I think he's got that issue of he's just got a issue of his frame and his height and his reach. It's just going to be tough for him to fight at heavyweight. So he doesn't seem to be like a big footwork guy. So, I mean, if you stand in the pocket and hook off with him, if you put yourself in his range, which is medium range for him, but long range for, short range for every other heavyweight out there, right? Like AJ did, pretty much famously. Thought he had him hurt and then dove in there too fast. Yeah, he gassed. Yeah, you want to call him chinny. I don't take him as chinny. He just stuck his head right in the fucking lion's mouth. He did what Bivol did not do with Canelo, if you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, if he's not going to use his feet to get to you and he's not going to be able to outbox you, he's shorter. Andrew, he's shorter than all these guys. You can't jab. You don't use your jab against a taller guy necessarily. You better take some angles. Like, I guess the best case would be like Mike Tyson. I mean, like, this guy's all over you before you can even get a jab out there, right? Andy Ruiz is not going to do that. So for Andy Ruiz, it's probably his biggest opportunity, because the question is Wilder going to use his jab and use his range, which I've never seen him do. I've never seen him really throw a jab out, like a power jab. Even everybody he's fought, except for Tyson Fury, has been shorter than him. Like, he's been clipped a zillion times because he's diving in there and windmilling and getting crazy. And it's not even a 1-2 with Wilder, it's just the two. It's not even a 1-2. It's just like he flicks his jab out there, like backhands it out there, like he's swatting a fly. I guess just to distract, as a feint, and then he just fires that right hand over and over. So that's 50-50 to me. And
interesting, man.
Who's Wilder's trainer? I mean, is someone going to explain that to him, and is he going to take it? I don't think so.
I mean, his trainer's got OnlyFans, by the way. Malik Scott, he's got the OnlyFans. He's doing some weird shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Malik Scott.
That's right. So, and they're always crying. I mean, after they knocked out Helenius, you would have thought they knocked out Muhammad Ali. They're crying. And there's some guy, they haven't said who that guy is. He kept going around, hugging them and kissing them, and then going back off the dais. It would have been funny if they would have said, hey, do you know who that guy was? And no, I don't know. We don't know the guy. It's some random black guy kissing them.
Wait. After Wilder knocked out Helenius, which I defy you to find a clip of that. I think PBC talk about like, they can't stop an illegal stream to save their ass. They just can't do anything about it. But exactly. I defy you to find a clip of that knockout ever again. They probably fucking destroyed that thing, burned it.
I mean, sometimes PBC, that's what they'll do. They show you the highlights, the official PBC channel, and it's 59 seconds. Like I was looking for the Tim Tszyu versus Gosha or Gasha. I forget how you pronounce his name. It's 59 seconds of highlights. It's like, fucker, that fight went 12 rounds. That's the best you could have found. I don't know. It seems like they're getting lazy. Or I don't know.
Well, that's a big part of their business model, I think, is just to like draw an analogy to the music business, is like controlling those masters, controlling the actual film and the images.
Oh, come on.
Because if you look back a long time ago, I remember, I don't know if it was Ness from the Boxing Voice. It was a long time ago, but he was at a PBC weigh-in, I think. And he was just indicating how basically PBC doesn't allow any photography at any of the, unless it's just stated, okay, fine, you guys can take pictures, but otherwise you got to go through Getty and therefore PBC. And if you remember, like in the HBO, the HBO clips when they used to put, they just talk about who's in the rankings right now and who's up. If you remember, they never used to be able to put a video of Floyd. You remember, they could never show Floyd Mayweather like winning against whoever, Josecito Lopez or whatever. They couldn't even show any footage of it. It was just that like a stock picture of Floyd when he used to fight for HBO. When he was fighting on HBO, they could not touch any. And it wasn't necessarily Showtime. It was Heyman put a lockdown on any of the footage. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they'll show you the highlight, but I don't think they're even going to show the highlight of that Helenius knockout. It was so funky. That shit looked weird.
Well, I mean, they have the highlights on YouTube, but it's weird. They have Wilder vs. Helenius highlights, and then they have full highlights. So what's missing from the first highlight? I don't know. And then you've got a couple of people that posted the fight. But I mean, that knockout, look, I'm not one of those people that says, because people in the chat are asking, why, what do you mean the fight was fixed? I'm not saying he took a dive. But fuck, it's one of the weirdest knockouts you've ever seen, man. So take that for what it's worth. The other thing about that is...
Yeah, I'm not saying choreographed or anything like that or whatever. I can't get into that. But obvious, I don't know, man. Either that or... how's he a sparring partner if that kind of shot lays him out? I don't give a fuck what you try to 6-inch punches and all these Bruce Lee shit. Dude, he like just pushed him like he'd push your... Like, get off me, man. Like, if you and I were together, I'd be like, and you were behind me, as always, behind me. I might turn around and go, come on, BDA, get off. Get out of here, man. I might push you, you know? And, like, that's what the punch looked like. So, okay, all right, let's just say Helenius is chinny. Let's just say he's, like, okay, yeah, but he just laid there like he got shot. He laid there like you know, like fucking, like
he
Razor
sold it,
Ruddock. Like,
hold on, but you gotta give him credit for the way he sold it. Look at that. It's like he's looking at the light. I believe it. If he was in a like community theater or something, I go, man, that guy's good. He's really making me believe he's looking at the light, and he's about to enter the tunnel or something, back to Valhalla.
Look at him. I mean, if you didn't know, right? If I just showed you this, right, like that picture, what would you imagine? What would you think the punch that did that? What would you think that must have looked like, right? And then I showed you the clip of the punch that did it. You'd go, holy shit! What is this guy got a fucking problem? I mean, he might be like
he's epileptic or something. Yeah.
Look at that.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
man,
they're trying to wake him up for 10 minutes. They got the fucking stretcher. I mean, goddamn, man.
And the way he went at Wilder,
a little much.
Square. The way he went up at Wilder in the lead up to the knockout, hands down, squared up, chin up in the air. So how long did you last in that training camp? Did they just bring him there and line him? Hey, okay, stand in front of Wilder, line him up for the right hand. That's it. It's like a punching bag in there. Wouldn't surprise me if they actually put
that. What kind of sparring partner is he?
I don't know. And people were like, I saw somebody on Twitter saying, because Anthony Joshua was going to be fighting Franklin, the guy that just went 12 rounds with Dylan White, and they're saying when Wilder returned, he took on a guy who was what did he say? Like Robert Helenius. When I forget what other name they brought up, and then they go, when Joshua fights, he comes back against the guy that just came off a loss. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Helenius, really, the only 2 solid wins he had was against Nowacki. I mean, come on, that dude, the Michelin man, that's his biggest win. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good win. Congratulations to him. But they're making out to see that he came back against. If he would have come back against Andrew Luiz or Alexander Usyk or Joe Joyce, then okay, full credit to you. They're making that to be like fucking Helenius.
No, I agree. Helenius never struck me as anything.
Helenius can always make a living playing an Aryan Brotherhood member in a prison movie or something, like a TV movie or something. Because you can see he's got acting skills. He's got acting chops. Why not? Make the best of it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole thing against Kanaki. I mean, Kanaki was just like, I guess his claim to fame is he could just take any punch or whatever. I don't know. It just, to me, it doesn't seem like a quality. I don't know. It doesn't justify. I guess you got to have, at least Wilder came back and had a tune up, for Christ's sake. The guy he's so fucking hard headed that I never seen a guy just take a loss and then take another big loss and then come back and just want to do it. You could have a trilogy with a guy, but we don't need to see it back to back to back. I don't know. There's only 4 of these heavyweights that are really worth the shit right now, and we can't just get a simple the loser fight the loser and the winner fights the winner. I mean, it just seems simple to me. They're all going to get paid for it.
Can we just the next time Deontay Wilder fights, loser goes home or whatever, leaves town. Now, can we just get him, trick him to go into an arena and then just wall him up in there? Like put a bunch of cement in the entrances in the window. Just wall him up, man. Like a Chinese emperor who gets betrayed or something.
Like
just
Dachau?
Wall him up. Like who?
Like Dachau? Like the concentration camp? Like
you gotta go.
Instead of a subway ride, you put him in a boxcar and then ship him, tell him to take a shower.
How dare you, man? How dare you? 6 million,
yeah.
Pete.
Oh, it was your idea.
Shit. My idea. Well, yeah. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
BDA Himmler over here.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying it's an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on from this subject.
I mean, he's
supposedly 6 million.
Oh, now wait a minute, Jamie. Don't you start, man. Come on now. going on here? Let me just put there you go. The Robert Hellenius, look at him. What the fuck? When I saw that,
if I
laughing
showed
my
you
ass
that
off,
picture, right? Even if you're a casual boxing fan, right? I mean, even if you're not a boxing guy, I mean, you don't have to be like an athlete or anything, but you've been, let's just say you're playing flag football and you fucking, you accidentally butt heads with somebody, or you're, even in basketball, you can do it. Anything, run into something. If I showed you that picture, and it was a boxing match, what kind of punch would do that? If I asked you, I mean, you'd be just thinking about like, wow, that guy must have got fucking either brutalized over, 10 rounds or just like right at the end of a perfect right hand. Just that's like Pacquiao type running into a Marquez punch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like some bad shit. And then I show you the replay. It's like, what?
I mean, I've seen people knocked out and they got the eyes wide open and all that, but they're snoring or something, right? Because they're out. This guy, he just looks like he's all right.
But what kind of punch did it when you saw it?
Was that?
Okay, yeah, I've seen that too. But what kind of punch did that when you saw that?
Actually, I've done that to people. I've done that to people is what I'm saying.
But
not with a 5.5 inch punch.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, I can't play the fight, but yeah, I mean, it was a punch. It was a punch in the throat or something that put him down. So I mean, and he had his weight in the back. I mean, that's a ridiculous fight, man. Ridiculous fight. And this doesn't help him at all for Andy Ruiz, man. Does not help him at all. Almost 3 minutes of a fight, 1 year. The fuck out of here. Ain't gonna work out, man. Hey, by the way, the phone lines are open, fellas. Phone lines are open in case anybody wants to call in. Let us have it. Talk to us about whatever it is that we're talking. Hey, give your prediction too on Anthony Yarde versus Beterbiev. See what happens in that one. See if anybody is putting some good money on that one. Curious to see what happens there. Yeah, hey Pete. So what's your prediction for the Yarde versus Beterbiev?
You got to favor Beterbiev. I haven't seen Anthony Yarde fight that I remember since the Kovalev fight. I know he's fought since, right? But I haven't.
That's right. Yeah.
Has he fought since?
Yes, he's fought. I think about 4 times.
Oh, 4 times. Oh, yeah. So you see, I'm up on my current events in boxing.
That's right.
I'm obviously a panelist. Well, the thing about it is, to be honest, Beterbiev, obviously a big, strong guy. Obviously got a good chin. I mean, not that it's ever been totally tested, but he's obviously built like a brick shit house, and never struck me as like I think a skilled guy would give him a lot of problems. Like a Bivol or even a Benavidez when he gets up there. His hook to me seems like he wants to get in there and hook off with you. So, given that though, I'd favor him to win the fight. I just don't know if seems like once he gets to you though, he doesn't stop you. I've never seen him just like get in and brutalize somebody to a decision. It's always pretty much a knockout, right? It's pretty brutal when he gets in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got weird fights, man. Like I said, I keep bringing up the Enrico Qualling fight because that guy was a strong guy, well-schooled, and he wasn't giving Beterbiev much of an opening, and Beterbiev was just content to, okay, I'm going to tap you here, tap you there. I mean, it was a very boring fight, man, very boring. But then you see him fighting guys like Marcus Brown, and he fucking brutalizes them. Okay, because that's the fighter I want to see. But again, look, listen,
that's right.
He was a world-class amateur. He's a world-class professional now. He knows what he's doing. What the fuck do I know? I see we've got the Guns jumping in. Guns, are you there?
Zalo.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. VDA? What's up, Pete? Peter, what's up?
What's up, Gonzalo?
What up?
Thank you for being on, man. What's your take on this Beterbiev Yarde fight? And do you give Yarde a shot, or what does he have to do to get the win and pull off the upset?
I mean, he's a physical dude. He's athletic. He's a big guy for light heavyweight. He's a younger man. Beterbiev is older. I don't know, maybe by 10 years? 8 to 10 years, maybe about 8.
7 years. Yeah.
Okay, 7 years. That's significant. I would say, what does he practice? Combination drills before. He does a little bit of what Mike Tyson used to do. Sequential punches. So I don't know if that's changed where he's sparring now, because before they say, "Oh, we don't like to spar." But going back to him being athletic, maybe he lands the right punch and hurts Beterbiev. I'm suspecting. I don't think it'll be enough to get the knockout, but I'm just saying we might be surprised, kind of like Andy Ruiz, Joshua. You know,
because
one of those things like upset of the year so far could play out. Not necessarily saying that it will. Yeah,
sorry,
what's up, Mr. BDA?
No, I said sorry. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, I'm kind of right there right now. I can't say anything conclusive. I'm just suspecting that he might get caught with something.
I mean,
with the
Anthony Yarde,
you know what I mean? He's got power.
Right. Listen,
this Anthony Yarde dude.
On paper, you wouldn't pick this Yarde character because his best win is Lyndon Arthur. Other than that, his record is replete. I'm talking replete with what Stu would call Bulgarian lorry drivers. That's what he's got. It's a bunch of Eastern European tomato cans. And I'm not saying the Eastern European thing as something negative, but I'm saying is that they're journeymen from the Eastern Europe. That's what he's been feasting on. And when he stepped up against Kovalev, the best he did was he had one round where he almost took him out. He almost took out a drunk Russian. By that time, you got Kovalev was fucking. So, I mean, that's it. So maybe now if Beterbiev is long in the tooth or whatever, maybe Yarde has a shot. But just on paper, he doesn't. But I'm waiting to see what happens there. Because like Gonzalo said, he's a physical guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that Beterbiev might be winning, but he gets caught like Kovalev. And he might show an instance of like where he gets buzzed a little or like dropped. Then he might have to fight back. This is Beterbiev and stop the younger man. I'm not saying that he's going to be winning all the rounds. I'm just saying he might get caught with the punch like he has before, like 2 times already, where he's been dropped. And this is going back to the fact that, I mean, he does fight regularly, but he gets injured. And he is older, so he might not give us his best performance, as you were alluding to, like the Enrico Colling fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just going to stick to, as an official prediction, I'm going to stick to a 9th round Beterbiev knockout.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey,
TKO. Officially.
That's the most precise take we've had so far. The most, you're picking around because most of us are just saying Beterbiev stoppage. But I'm curious to see fucking Yarde how long he tries to do the fucking shoulder roll, and how long before he realizes, hey, this shit ain't working. I don't know. Maybe it will work. I don't know. Who knows? Let's go to the phone lines here. We got a couple of phone calls coming in. Let's go to 832. Hold on a second. Is everything working out here? 832, you're on the air. 832, what's on your mind?
Oh, can you hear me?
Hold on a second. Yes, go ahead, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes, 832, we can hear you, man. What's up?
So, all black fighters from PBC, the only thing they're good at is beating their wives. And
come on.
Now, apart from that, I wanted to say, I mean, even Wilder, but okay. Anyways, as far as the Yarde versus Beterbiev fight goes, I mean, Beterbiev is a monster, but he hasn't really fought. He doesn't have much experience. Well, what I mean to say, like, he hasn't fought anyone like where he is an underdog or he's likely to have a tough time with this fighter. And I think with Yarde, I think the safe pick is Beterbiev by KO. So I'm going to go Beterbiev by KO in round 11.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, losing most rounds.
Well, hold on a second. What do we call you? What's your acronym name, whatever?
Alien.
Alien Sekbak. Okay, Alien, so you said 11 round, Beterbiev 11 round stoppage.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, man. I got it down. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
One more thing.
Sure.
Tank looks like a midget lesbian.
Oh. Well, I agree with that.
He's going to get stopped by Ryan.
He's going to get stopped by Ryan. Well, there you go, Alien. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for your call, man. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
with the dreadlocks or whatever, yeah, he does look weird with that fat neck of his. All right, well, thank you for your call again. Catch you on the next one, man.
Bye.
He said it so casually too. He looks like a fat lesbian. All right, let's go to 386. 386.
What did you say,
you're on the
fat
air.
lesbian?
Well, I think he said just lesbian. Maybe I had. fat in there.
Oh, what's up, fellas?
Oh, Action Jackson, what's up, man?
Let's go, Chan. Yo, chillin'. What's up, Pete? Gons? How's the fellas doing?
Jackson, what's up, dude?
Glad everybody's well.
I just kicking back, man. Drinking some coffee.
Fuck, am I breaking up? Yo, this is gonna be a good fight. So Beterbiev should kill Yarde in theory, but I mean, the man is strong. Yarde hits hard. I mean, he could. I mean, this is like, I don't know. Like, this is like one of those kind of like the Joe Smith fight where everybody thought he had a chance, but like, it's kind of different. I think Yarde has a couple. His punches are a little shorter, and he might be able to land, line up a line drive right on Beterbiev's head, and I think his chin is going to be tested early on unless, Artur just goes in there and steamrolls him. I'm looking forward to this fight. I wish he'd be, fighting Bivol, but, I mean, you can't say you guys aren't excited for this, right?
I can. I mean, you're not gonna tell me I can't say or cannot say, man. What's?
No,
but yeah, I am
can't.
excited.
I'm hard.
But I am excited. I am excited. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's going to be a fun fight.
And it's going to be taking place in England.
Like,
it's going to be a lot of people
I'm
partying.
super excited. Like, I think Yarde could actually stop this guy. If that fucking British bum, Callum Johnson or whatever, would he drop him twice? I mean,
once, I believe. Yeah.
Yarde almost. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited, guys, and then happy
sound
to
like you're excited.
see the BDA show run strong.
Hey, but Jackson, okay. We're talking about if and it could happen. I agree with you. I think there's a good chance for an upset, or I mean, there's a chance for an upset. But what's your official pick?
Beterbiev by murder.
But Beterbiev by murder. And if Beterbiev loses, if he goes back to Chechnya or whatever he's from, do you think he gets murdered or? Well, he's living in Canada now, though, so.
That too. That's my second.
He's up there your way.
If it goes the other way, Beterbiev gets murdered. So that's what it is. It's a double murder. God bless. All right, I'll be listening.
Come on. All right, shout out to you, Jackson.
Right,
thank you for calling him, and take it easy out there. Yeah, people in the chat are calling him. People in the chat are calling him Funhouse Jackson. It's gonna be his new nickname. I don't know what it means, but
he's Palm Beach County's most wanted right now.
Well, him and what's the name of that broad that killed her kid and then got away with it? She's on Netflix
Arias?
now. Who?
Oh no. Not Arias. Yeah, Arias.
Well, you're talking about Lori Vallow.
No, it's a Florida girl. It's
bitch from Orlando.
She had him in the trunk of her car and I forgot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the girl from Orlando.
Is that her? What's the name?
I can't remember this fucking whore's name.
All right.
She's around though.
Casey
Anthony. Jody Arias is the whore who killed her fucking lawyer boyfriend because he didn't want to go out with her anymore.
West, right?
Yeah, out west. The girl who killed was a Jody too, who murdered her daughter down in Florida. I don't remember that fucking bag of shit's last name.
People are saying that it's Casey Anthony. Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. Casey Anthony.
Anthony. That's her name. Yeah.
She's got
I'd fucking smash it. Don't get me wrong. I just wouldn't fucking.
Jimmy,
come on. You don't have to get her home for her kids.
No, come on. Wait a minute, Jimmy. I'm gonna.
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna hang up. All right.
You're on thin ice here, buddy boy. You better take it easy there, Mister. All right. Shout out to the Quacks, by the way. He says, "Put me down,
dude."
Watch it, dude. Shout out to the Quacks. He says, "Put me down for a 5th round KO for Beterbiev." All right. Shout out to the Quacks for re-extending his membership program. Really appreciate it. And I've got your prediction down. Let me just read another comment here as well. Thor. Shout out to Thor, aka British Jimmy. And he says, Wilder had to make an example of Big Pale Guy in Hellenius. It's the only way the Kang would restore honor to the LDBC. The Fury miscalculation on Black History Month needed to be avenged. Shout out to Jimmy from England. And yes, that sounds about right, man. I know Shadowban had a big old lecture about that type of thing, so people could check that one out as well. So somebody was going to say something? Not about Casey Anthony. Forget her. That's a very.
I would say PDA. Boxing fans nowadays are more not knowledgeable, but they're not suckers, man. Because maybe there's more information out there that, like, for example, when Berlanga lost, all the hype was gone. People weren't going to keep watching him. Oh man, I'm just gonna follow what the people try to push down my throat. And with Anthony Yarde, when he lost, man, the hype was gone too. So people lost interest. I'm just saying that you can still burn the midnight oil and get better. Or like, let's say, okay, you got this perception about this fighter, and maybe, people lost interest and they haven't been following because a lot of the hype, has gone away regarding that fighter. But during that time, hey, maybe the fighter improves and does the changes necessary and doesn't actually, like, he actually does something different than the fighters like Eubank, or like the fighters that keep telling you one thing, but it's never going to change, like the Chavez Juniors of the world. There's some fighters that actually change, I think, because we are free will thinking individuals. So I'm just saying maybe the guy does something different.
It's a good point, man.
Improved.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Very metaphysical there, Gonzalo. Now, are you telling me, though, that you don't think he was getting better sparring his trainer? See there, the Tunde there? He's wearing the mitts. He's trying to punch him with that. You don't think that was making a Yarde better? Look at what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I mean, you could spar your trainer. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
honestly, if your trainer was physically able, he'd probably be the best sparring partner you could get. I mean, because he actually try to emulate a game plan, like play a scout team, so to speak.
Are you watching what I'm putting up on the screen here?
I'm watching the stream on the Discord.
Okay, well, maybe you'll see it here then. But his trainer, overweight. He's got the punching mitts on, and he's sparring Yarde, and he's like he's that punch right there. That wasn't that overhand right here. Hold on, look at that. He wasn't trying to punch him there, man. Or maybe he was. I don't know. It looked like it. But anyway, my thing is he's trying to make him better, man.
Stream. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's. Oh, he's like a fucking roid guy, huh? He's like Tong Po.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's not the proper training. Listen. Like I told Jimmy earlier, the trainer said that he's dialing it back now. He's not talking as much. Blah blah blah. He said, "Oh, I felt like I had to talk in prior fights, but now I'm taking a step back." Also, the other thing you got to give Yarde credit is they have a former European champion in the training camp right now who's giving instructions. He's got 2 trainers now. And this guy, Tunde, he was humble enough to take a step aside and say, okay, you know what? I don't know. We could get better with somebody else here. Now, that's not something you see from, for example, Teofimo Lopez Sr., right?
No. Although you don't know, man. It's not over with yet, but he should. I don't know. Someone should get to him. That you gotta speak there. If you get through to him, whether it be to somebody who they trust or. Yeah, you can't rely on them to come do it by themselves, but it can be all the same financial. I mean, you don't have to expel the guy, but yeah, bring somebody and try to make adjustments. You don't have to change your stripes or completely drastically change everything, but boxing or football or any profession, I don't care if you're a fucking mechanic. If you can't adjust, it's at the point where you just say, I'm done. I'm just done not making any adjustments. Well, fuck, man. Might as well wrap it up. It's gonna be
Gonzalo. Yeah, man. Well, what do you think, Gonzalo?
Yeah, I think you have to have somebody to help you come up with a good game plan, because all fights are different, and especially for a counterpuncher who's limited only to doing a few things based off the energy of the other fighter, or basically of what the other fighter does. You go off that. So, I mean, a counterpuncher today gets thrown around very loosely. Yeah, he's a counterpuncher because, let's say, he doesn't throw a lot of punches. Okay, and he's waiting for you to make a mistake so he can capitalize after. Okay, yeah, technically, yeah, that is true. But that's just like, okay, he don't throw a lot of punches. I'm waiting for you to make a mistake. Now, everybody can do that. Now, we think about what a true counterpuncher is. I would say is somebody like freaking Marcus. I think aggressive also. Aggressive, not only that makes waits till you make a mistake. When he does pounce on you, he does it very effectively. And that's the thing, man, because when you don't throw that many punches, let's say it's not your night and you don't got your timing down, yeah, you're going to look frustrated and you're going to look like you got exposed. So you really got to develop. And I'm not the one to explain how, but I mean, he is a professional, but bring somebody in there to help you improve. Come up with a solid game plan if you're going to stick to that style.
Well, listen, we'll see what happens on Saturday, man. Like I said, this fight is interesting. As Funhouse Jackson was certainly excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it more than...
I was thinking about Teofimo Lopez when I was saying that. Yeah, but in regards to Sunday, to Yarde, we'll see, man. I haven't watched one of the fights in a long time. I only watched the Kovalev and another fight against Lincoln. So.
Well, now, you brought up Teofimo Lopez, and I wanted to bring this up about Senior. It's always good for some entertainment. He had this to say. He says that Teofimo Lopez Jr., his son, actually looked sharp against Sandor Martin. He said, I saw the fight because I hadn't seen the fight, so I went back and I seen it with Sandor. He looked good. He looked sharp. He didn't get tired. So, look, what I have to say about this fight is this. It's true. He didn't look, I mean, was there criticism for Teofimo Lopez Jr. in that fight? Sure, absolutely. And it's not anything we hadn't said before. The guy is not all that great at cutting off the ring. He can't string more than 3 punches together when he's pressuring. He doesn't know how to work his way on the inside. I mean, things we had seen against Lomachenko, against Nakatani, and so on and so forth. But you also have to consider that Sandor Martin is a very difficult guy to pin down. He's quick. Does he throw a lot of punches? No, but whatever he does throw is accurate. And so, look, Lopez didn't look all that great, but he got past him. Now he's looking forward to fights against maybe a guy like Barboza and so on and so forth. But what do you guys think about, just to recap the Sandor Martin fight, how would you guys say Lopez looked in that fight? Would you agree with Senior that he looked sharp?
Yeah, a little bit. Considering how Mikey Garcia looked against Sandor, maybe everybody looks like shit against Sandor Martin.
Excellent point.
I agree.
Excellent point.
Yeah, I agree with Gonzalo. I don't think you can. It's hard to look good against the guy who doesn't want to commit to fighting you.
Right. I mean, listen.
I don't think 5 pounds was the answer for Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that was like the key to all of his problems. Because now he's not going to carry up any. His power is obviously not going to be what it was at 35, and his punch resistance is going to be less now because he can be fighting other 140 pounders. Where at 135, he had some pretty damn good resistance. He's just a bigger guy. The decision to there's a lot of guys that try to survive. I mean, just because you try to survive doesn't mean the other guy shouldn't get you out of there. I just don't.
But that's the thing.
I think, Pete. I think when you're a young guy and you barely move up, like for example, for the first weight class you have ever throughout your career, I think everything's fine. You actually gain resistance and your power might stay the same. I'm not saying necessarily that it'll improve. I think it starts like making a difference when you go up to that third division, and sometimes when people try to shoot for that fourth, when you're like in your late 20s, that's when that stuff don't carry up. But I think when you're moving up from 35, like Oscar De La Hoya moved up from 35 to 40, that's where he belonged the whole time. I'm saying this is where I think Teofimo belongs. Naturally, look at his body. He's a pretty stocky dude. So yeah, he don't think he loses anything there. That's where if he loses here, it's because he was never that good. But technically, I think he should be improving because he's only getting better. He's got experience. He should be able to perform well, unless the chin betrays him, because he never did have that chin. Who knows?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting point, because so far he's fought guys that can't really crack. I mean, Campa, he could crack, I suppose, but I'm talking a guy who's skilled and who can crack. Sandor Martin, not the biggest puncher out there. Much more skilled than Campa, don't get me wrong, but not the biggest puncher, and he was able to drop Teofimo Lopez. So we want to see Lopez against a guy that some of the top 10 dudes. See what happens there. We'll see what he can do. Because, again, man, a lot of people were, telling you, look, Lomachenko fight, all credit to him. He had under 20 fights, and he stepped up against the guy a lot of people were saying was the best fighter in the world. And did he get a little fortunate? Yeah. But, hey, he took the fight. He didn't know actually, maybe he did know that Lomachenko was going to get injured. But whether he did or didn't, he stepped into against Lomachenko, took the win, walked out with the win. Would I have liked to have seen a rematch? Absolutely. But what I'm saying here is, I think there's been a bit of a, like, for lack of a better word, like Jimmy said, like a bit of a mirage about how good Lopez is. And he's very good. He's very talented. But when it comes to the skills, he's a counter puncher. He's a boxer puncher. And if you don't give him an opening or whatever, he's not going to look all that great. He's not going to chase you down. And Lord knows about his skills and his mental issues either. So we'll see what happens in there with him. We'll see what happens with him.
That win really derailed him, to be honest. I don't know, man. I just don't think mentally he does. Maybe he doesn't feel like he deserved it, or just doesn't. Maybe he basically understands that there was not a fluke. He won that fight. He beat Lomachenko. I'm saying maybe to himself he doesn't. Some people don't like that. They like to dig a hole so they can dig themselves out again. But
that's right.
Sometimes people dig too much. He went off the rails after that fight, and the thing about the aura of him, or the, what'd you call it, like the mirage, the mystery of, kind of like the urban legend of Tio, that's fine, that can be out there, but I guess as a fighter, you really, and as a trainer, which Tio Senior, I guess, like I say, to ask the guy to just eject him from the camp, he can be there, but even a guy like Devin Haney's dad, right? He's obviously not the most straightforward guy, right? I don't know if I would buy a fucking car off of him, but I mean, like, at least he understands that he steps aside and lets somebody actually do the training. He's still going to make his money. The son's, Devin still trusts him. Tio trusts his dad, but if he doesn't want to just step aside, he had good luck when he did that. The Lomachenko fight. The Lomachenko fight was the time that he did bring in another trainer and a nutritionist. So it's like, why would you see that success and then do everything you can to do something different? They changed everything after that. Like, why?
Because he was changing the game, remember? That was their claim. They're going to change the game now, that we're in control. Fighters are going to start getting rewarded. Dude said a lot of shit. Yeah, he took that win. Some guys take wins bad, losses bad. That dude took a fucking win bad.
Yeah, right? It was like almost like,
It's part of being a good father, and maybe like also a good trainer, in the sense that you got him where you needed to get him. He became a world champion. Now pass it on so he can continue. Because you're obviously, like everybody, like, unless you're like Jimmy or Mr. BDA, our knowledge is not like we know like a lot of shit. It's a certain point we just need to, like, okay, I got you here. Let me fucking pass it on where I can learn too, Two eyes better
like
than one.
Benavidez's dad. Benavidez's dad seems to be a student of this shit, I mean, he came in not knowing much, and a lot of these guys, their dad is the one taking them around, like, from the amateurs, I mean, they basically not drop out, but they do homeschool. They got to make all kind of accommodations to get around to these tournaments and these duels. Some of them are out of the country. It doesn't always coincide with the school schedule, so sometimes it's just him and their dad on the road. Yeah, they did get you there, and again, he doesn't have to leave the fucking building. Like, to ask Teofimo Lopez to kick his dad out, like, just lock. He can scream and yell. There's guys that hang out in any job or any profession. There's guys that are there kind of just to fucking.
Actually,
shit, you know what I mean?
Now that you mention it, I'd like to see Teofimo Lopez. I'd like to see them take a page out of the Yarde book and Lopez spar his dad or something. I'd like to see that. Hit him with a body shot or something. See how? No, because he always has a lot to say.
Sunglasses on.
Right? Yeah, exactly. He always has a lot to say about how we're gonna kick your ass, we're gonna do this, we're gonna show us you can fight. Apparently, Recognize said that he'd heard from his New York contacts that apparently Teofimo Sr. was a respected guy in the streets, but it's one thing to be able to find the streets, and another one know how to box. So show us you can box. You got a lot to prove there, mister.
Do you guys remember the story with Danny Garcia when during a tournament, his father drove, they went up to Pennsylvania to be in a tournament. Some part in Pennsylvania state tournament. He was 11 years old, and being an 11-year-old, he wasn't totally focused like 11-year-olds will do. And his father, he walked back to the hotel room. He walked in the room, his father grabbed him by his shirt, threw him against the wall, put his fucking arm up under his throat and started choking him and said, "You ever lose again, I'll fucking kill you." So, that's probably not a plus in the father thing. But yeah, he told that story kind of jokingly. I remember when he said that, I was like, then you wonder why he has mental fucking, he's unstable.
I'm an Angel Garcia fan from the beginning. The guy, if you look at what he says on paper, he likes to scream, and he's Puerto Rican and he's from Philadelphia. So, I mean, don't expect the volume to be like, you and I are talking right now. It's going to be fucking loud. So, and he's erratic the way he presents it sometimes. But if you look at what he's saying on paper, he's fucking right. I've seen some interviews with the guy that just like he could be on this panel. I mean, he could replace. He could. Honestly, if you look at our view, or not all of us, but most of our views, and then what he says, he's right on. He's totally, he's hilarious too. But the thing about Dan, he was saying that he just basically, I'm working two jobs. I'm a parts runner for auto fucking parts. I'm working my balls off to take this kid on these tournaments, and then we go to some tournament 4 or 5 hours away, hotel rooms, everything, and he gets eliminated the first round, and he's eating hot dogs and laughing with everybody, like he's just joking around, like a kid will do. And yeah, he just pissed him off, right? He just got fucking pissed at him.
And by the way, that's also the little known fact. That's also where Danny Garcia got his autoerotic asphyxiation fetish from. You wouldn't know it, but hey, that's what I'm here for, man. Tell you the little details like that.
I don't think anybody's asphyxiating Angel Garcia. He's got lung power. But I will say this: it is a good analogy. In other words, let the guy talk. He can fucking talk. Danny Garcia's not going to talk shit like that. Danny Garcia never got into what the Tio. Yeah, his dad was saying all kinds of shit, but Danny Garcia never talked like that. I don't think he ever thought like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was actually Al Heyman who clipped Danny Sr.'s wings. It was after it was in the Barclays Center during the press pre-fight last press conference when DSG's old man got up there and started dropping N-bombs. Remember that? It was right after that. Yeah, the rumor was that it came up from up high that to shut your fucking mouth.
Well,
that's
also
why you
after
suddenly
the fight,
stopped hearing quotes and shit from him.
Also after the fight, that's when he said about Keith Thurman. He said he ain't from Philly. He ain't got a big dick. I go, first of all, how do you know he doesn't have a big dick? And number two, you don't have to be from Philly. I'm not from Philly. I got a big one. So right there, that disproves two of his claims right there, man. And by the way, before we continue on that, very interesting here. We hadn't talked about Angel in a while. Let's go to a couple of phone calls here. Let's go to 510 here. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you're on the air, 510. What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going? First of all, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, Gonzalo? What's up, Mr. BDA? About the fight, the Yarde versus Beterbiev, I guess I could kind of reiterate the sentiment. It should be Bivol versus Beterbiev, but whatever. I think if I want to go out on a limb and call what's going to happen, I think just based, I don't know, I've never seen that Yarde kid fight, so I really don't know, but it would most likely, it's going to be a, I guess, relatively entertaining fight. I think based off of him, it seems as he'll try to spam like his the shoulder roll. So I think by that alone, I'm pretty sure Beterbiev will probably knock him out. Probably TKO 4th round, just based on that. Because a lot of people tend to think that the shoulder roll is like fairly a superior technique, but it implies like you having not a lot of people can pull it off. So
that's right.
And it's sort of like a thing, like if you don't have like extreme reactions or good reactions, it's you're going to get clipped. So just based off of that, I think that's what's going to happen. And that's pretty much. Hopefully it'll end up being a good night. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to really say.
So wait a minute, hold on. What was your prediction then?
Fourth round, TKO, Beterbiev.
Fourth round, TKO. And what do we call you?
You could just call me Chris, I guess, or whatever.
Chris. That's all you want to go with?
Yeah.
It's a little vanilla for the show, but all right, we'll go with it.
I mean, I could come up with something stupid, but I don't,
Well, how about you let us do it?
Attaboy, Chris.
How about you let us do it for you? Let us come up with something stupid. We've got to
say that again.
No, I'm kidding.
Mr. BDA kind of vanilla. What a dick.
All right, come on, man.
Let Tio Senior come up with something for you.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Okay,
all right, Chris.
Call me, I don't know, dude. Come up with something, man. Like Mr. Dick. I don't know, Mr.
Dick. Come
Vanilla
on,
shake, whatever, man. Like,
give us a little more credit than that, man. All right, well, listen, Chris. We'll come up with something.
The Vanilla Man.
Say that again.
Remember in Caddyshack when the priest got struck by lightning and he was all drunk at the bar? And they were like, "Your Excellency." He's like, "My name's Jack. I'm a man just like you."
All right, well, listen, Chris. We'll come up with something good, man. Shout out to you, man, and take it easy and catch you in the next one, all right, man?
Yeah, for sure, man. Take it easy. All right.
All right, take it easy.
I like this pick. It's nice and bold. Fourth round stoppage.
917. Yes, 917. You're in the air. Yes.
How you doing?
Oh, it's Christos from Greece. Yes, Christos, what's up, man?
It's been a long time, man. Boxing's been it's been slow, a little slow lately, but we're coming back. Anyway,
how's business? How's business, by the way?
This guy, Anthony Yarde, he better behave because he's gonna get a taste of better behave. You understand? He's gonna get knocked the fuck out.
Oh. You want to make a prediction there?
I say 7th, 8th round. Put him on a souvlaki stick 2 times.
All right, 7th, 8th round. Beterbiev puts him on a kielbasa. No, excuse me, souvlaki. Beterbiev. All right. What else? Hey, Chris, how's business?
Baklava for dessert. Don't worry about it.
That sounds delicious, man. How's business been, man? By the way.
Yeah.
How's business? How's it been? Rolling along?
Going good. About to make some money on the fight, Business gonna be really booming.
You're gonna bet?
Of course I'm a bet. Come on, man.
Of course, you're Greek.
He's Greek, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you and the Japanese people there.
You gotta do something on the weekend, a little excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Anyway, you guys take it easy. I gotta go. Okay. Gotta go.
Chris. All right, take it easy, man. Thank you for your call, man.
Yasu Christo.
Peace.
Take it easy, man.
Yeah, Greek is got to go back to work.
Nah,
come on, those motherfuckers do.
Hey,
he's smoking a Pall Mall right now.
All right, let's go. Hey, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like.
How's business?
Really
the fuck you gonna do? Business, fucking taxes. You fucking poverty come in here.
Leave it up to Zeus. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 323. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
What's going on, fellas? Bon Madrasos here.
Oh.
And, I got, man, come on. You got to give it to Beterbiev here. I mean, Yarde got knocked out by a jab, and he gets kind of tired, too. He's a big boy. He's got a lot of money. He's got to move all that around. I know he's young, but I don't know, man. You know what? Whenever I see Beterbiev fight, and I don't know if you can agree with me on this, but it doesn't look like he puts a lot behind his punches, and he knocks fucking dudes out. It's just it's incredible to me. Whenever I see this guy fight, what he did to Joe Smith, I didn't see I didn't even see him pivot into that uppercut, and he put him on his ass. It's just that kind of power that this guy has, and I really don't see Anthony Yarde going the distance or even halfway through the fight. I have to agree with your that other caller a couple of calls ago that he said the 4th round. I think it's going to be around there, 4th or maybe the 6th round. But the experience of Yarde, because he's young, I'll give him a little bit more. But I really don't. I think the guy's going to get tired, and I don't think he's going to be able to withstand the power with Beterbiev. Anyway,
there you go,
I don't know what you guys think about that. I wanted to also touch on the Teofimo Lopez, because you guys were really having fun with that, and you know, I never really thought about it that way until you guys put it forward that he not only could he not handle the loss, but he couldn't handle that win, and all the antics that went after that win. I would see him on interviews, and you know, he was like just on high narcissism, just talking about the tree of life and getting into weird philosophy and clout chasing Canelo on stage with all his belts so they could be photographed together. The guy just lost his fucking mind, and I think it's a matter of time. Even if he wouldn't have lost to Kambosos, you guys, it would have just been a matter of time before he would have just gotten crazy. You know, it could have happened 5 years from now, but I think the guy eventually would have just lost his marbles anyway. So just for that reason alone, I think he's pretty much done.
Oh, that's a bold prediction right there, man, and it's a dreary one for such a young, talented fighter.
It's just his mental state, you know. He's not stable. Obviously, the dad's not stable. If he continues with his dad, I mean, the guy's over. His career's, you know, I don't think he has much of a career left if he's going to continue. He's not going to be pro Grey. I mean, where does he go from here? Really?
Hey,
is he going to be reduced to a gatekeeper? 40?
Don Madrazos, would it be too much of a stretch to say that maybe Lopez Sr. gets his son killed? Like maybe, you know, he loses a couple of fights and they have to retire, and then he talks him into a bank robbery or something. Now, look, we need money, man. It's going to be easy. Just trust me. And then he gets killed and he has to hold him in his arms while he's dying or something. Is that too far-fetched? Or?
I don't think so. They're both crazy. They're you know, the guys are both, you know, they're functioning narcissists, and they're really fucked up, man. The way they talk to people, the way they talk to each other, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a father-son duo quite like that. You know, it's a far cry from, you know, Virgil Ortiz and his dad. You know, they're just a lot more grounded in reality. And when you see these two bozos, it's a shit show, man. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take myself off. Really enjoyed the show today. It's really good to hear you guys talk about this stuff, and I'll continue listening. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in there, Don Madrazos. Catch you in the next one, man. Take it easy out there.
Peace, Don.
Don't forget to hit the like, fellas.
Man. You know what? I blame the manager, man. Where's this fucking manager at? This guy, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this McWhorter guy. Just that win. Yeah, they were happy about it. They were celebrating. That's what you expect them to do, even though, hey, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's like a little unsportsmanlike with the backflips and the run around. But they're happy. They could celebrate and they won that fight. But this whole, like, the downtime for a young guy is bad, man. You just, too much downtime plus the money. And the downtime was kind of brought on by the promise of money. You know, it was just like this figure in the air from Triller. It took him out of the game for like 18 months. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, that's when that's anybody, I don't care, man. If you just, even if, I know guys that have related to me that for ill-advised reason, they come into a bunch of money, and then they're having going through a divorce. So that's like, they have to suspend working, and it's just, they're going through a divorce, and they sold their half of their company, let's just say, right? They got bought out because the partner doesn't want to deal with this fucking bitch, because you're gonna start making a big mess out of this divorce, and they don't want their books crawled into. So now this guy's just been bought out of this company. He's in his early 30s, and he's gonna take 2 years off. He's single for 2 years with like a bunch of money. Nothing good came of it. I mean, finally we just got to say, you got to get back to work, man. You got to do something. You're just like fucking around. You're fucking making bad decisions. You're, having fun, but and that's a guy in his mid 30s now. A guy in his early 20s, you tell him to take a year and a half off, and he just got a paycheck, and then he thinks he's going to make this other huge number because his manager's telling him this, telling the dad and him this, and you're gonna. Not only are you not going to make money for a year and a half, but you're going to blow it out. You're going to do the most expensive, costly shit you can find, which is knock a girl up, and get married. And yeah, like Don said, you seen him on the interviews towards the back end of that. It was with the Zen shit and the Buddhist shit and the secrets of life, and he's all religious. And
was he confusing
Jesus
him with Keith Thurman though? Because I didn't see that. I didn't see Teofimo Lopez engaging in any type of occultism. Which, by the way, I'm anything other than Christianity, I'm sorry. You're a pagan. You're an occultist, and we're gonna get you. Let me just go to the phone lines real quick before we continue on with this subject, because we're far from done here. And I do feel bad for Teofimo because I think he's got a lot of talent and I think he's a heck of a fighter and he could be doing better. Let's go to 424. 424, you're on the air. 424, what's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, PDA. This is Joseph Bono from Long Beach, California.
Oh, Joseph Bono,
make it
what's up?
short. I don't know. Huh?
I just said what's up, man. Go ahead, man.
Hello. All right, yeah. I don't know how Yarde talked himself into this fight, but I think he's going to be sorry. 5th round KO, Beterbiev. That's it.
5th round. That's it?
I think, yeah, that's it. I don't know. Bob Aaron probably had a lot to do with this. He don't know who else to put up in front of Beterbiev. Bevo is taken for a while, so, hey, give him Yarde.
But you gotta wonder who they're gonna give him after, because like you said, Bivol, apparently they're talking about him and Canelo in September, maybe a super middleweight. So what the fuck is next for Beterbiev?
Yeah, he's out of it for at least a year.
Man, that's a shame, man.
Beterbiev has to fight someone, and I don't know. Yarde is it.
Maybe
he's out
Beterbiev,
5.
Yeah, maybe Beterbiev should take a 2.
Guy from Chicago right there. Joe's from Chicago for sure.
There you go, man. All right, Joe, anything else you want to say before we move on?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Good. See that? Short and to the point. That's how he does it, man. That's how they do it over there in Boston. Hey, shout out to Medardo Garcia, by the way, for his contribution with the super chat.
He sounded like a New York guy.
Well, listen, I'm going by what Pete says, man. What do I know about accents? But shout out to Medardo Garcia for his contribution. He says, I got Beterbiev by late stoppage in a tough fight. Yarde will make it the fight entertaining for the first few rounds. Well, there you go. Shout out to Medardo. I got your prediction down now. Wrote that one down. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 661. 661, you're on the air. 661, what's on your mind?
So what's on my mind is, what's up, BJ? What's on my mind is the last caller who was hating on Teofimo Lopez. I just want to explain to the viewers, to the chatters who might not be aware to what's really going on. See, these dudes don't hate Teofimo Lopez. They hate the fact that he beat Loma.
Oh.
And the fact that he has that one up on Loma, and he always will. And if Loma had beat him, the China haters, fake phony, saying he went to war, he never went to war. You know, it's okay for him and Usyk to spread fear, trauma, and more fear, trauma programs throughout the nation and do what these China haters do for a living, lie, deceive, and try to traumatize the population to keep them submitted, right? He could do that. It's no problem. But Teal can't even breathe on an interview. Oh, my God, Jesus, fuck, oh, I can't stand this guy. You can't stand that Teal beat him. If Loma beat Teal, who was already a champion, Teal was defending his title, you think Loma will give Teal the rematch? No, they will continue on.
Absolutely.
The Matrix, the best ever. Oh, just like you will hear people say, oh, Ryan Garcia's white. No, he's not. Ryan's a Mexican. Justin Bieber's white. Ryan's only white to these people when it's beneficial. But if Ryan were ever to do something like what I've done, the most impactful to ever walk the earth, accomplish more than any African you ever know, any European you ever know, I have the proof. What were they going to do to Ryan? Turn around, downplay him, ignore the truth, and go worship Elon Musk. Be the little China haters they are.
Well, Fighter Spirit, can I ask you this? Fighter Spirit, can I ask you?
You are the most Shadowban.
But hold on, Shadowban.
To ever inhabit your mother's basement.
Shadowban, can I ask you this, man? Can I ask you this?
Scale Bender, shut up, China hater. The definition of a race is what? A competition to a certain objective somewhere. It also means the different tribes of people. So that's why these people are China haters. They're constantly in a competition, trying to convince everybody that China's bad. These Caucasians are LGBTQ pushers, BLM pushers, little maggot cucks, and then they'll go blame the Jews. Some more China haters. It's not nobody's fault your cousin is a cuckold little maggot. It's not the Jews' fault.
I agree with some of what you're saying, but let me ask you this, man, because you've said this before. So I'm going to ask you something new here. You've done more than a lot of these people have done, you say. So I'm curious if you could extend your expertise. What can Teofimo Lopez do to improve? Because he's in a bit of a bad place right now. Not the worst place, but he's in a bit of a transition mode here. What could he do? What should he do?
Just get off of social media where you will hear these people unfairly criticizing him because he's a Latino and he tends to act like a hip hop and he's from New York. He tries to be, but the wigger Plant, these China haters won't call Plant out the same way they'll hate on Tio Benavidez because these want to be down with the brown. China haters are mad that they're looked at a certain way. You're a white privileged little China hater. That's nobody's fault. Don't be mad at a Latino having a chip on your shoulder like, oh, he wants to be. Nobody wants to be nothing. Tio's the way he is. That's it. Just like Plant, that you don't call out that you're hoping beats Benavidez because they like the China hater Freemason Canelo being on top. Even though he's Mexican, they can leech tickets from Mexico.
What's with the China hater? What are you, a big fan of China?
He's used that term from.
I'm just curious.
They see the China hater as one of them. As one of them.
He loves that.
So they don't mind that a Mexican's on top as long as it's the ginger China hater, right? But anybody else, they will outcast. Just like me. I'm only white to these China haters when it's beneficial. Soon as they find out the truth that I've revealed,
when is that?
They will ignore the truth, downplay me, turn around, go worship Elon Musk, go worship Jordan Peterson, all these China haters that look like them, just so they don't admit the fact that a little Mexican American kid started a movement and they don't want to allow it to really happen. But I already did. You people haven't seen nothing yet. You could downplay it, ignore the truth, won't change shit. It is written. The first shall be last. Wisdom is given unto babes. You people claim you're this and that. Read the scriptures. They're literally talking about me.
Pete has a question for you, though. Pete, go ahead, man.
You're a zero. Pete, I think, well, no, I was just saying, only happy with you when you're beneficial to them. But when is that, though? I mean, aren't you? Isn't the fact that you're a net loss on society? I mean, net. I'm just saying, if you add it up on balance, aren't we in the negative still? Let's be honest. The thing about it is, I like to see you at a Chinese disco next New Year, next Chinese New Year.
Oh, come on, man! Come on, man! Hold on. But
I'll buy you a ticket to that.
Let me fucking feet's on fire, Shadowban. Let me ask you though, like these people, they love to hate, but do they know who you are though? How many of them know who you are though? Because you've said that before. Now, are there any?
They know, PBA. They know these people. They like I said. Only when it's beneficial, they want to kumbaya, hold hands. But when it really gets down to it, they won't let a little Mexican-American kid. I already started the movement, though. I had more impact than Jimmy, Scalebender, their kids, their parents, their whole future bloodline generation ever will. It was written for a reason, because that's how these China haters are. They're arrogant. They need a reality check. They could hate. They could downplay. It doesn't ignore the truth. Doesn't ignore the fact. It doesn't change the facts. Doesn't change the outcome. Doesn't change the effects. Never will. The paradigm shift is coming. Look, I told you, BDA. Didn't I tell you, BDA?
You explained it well, yes. You've explained it a number of times.
Didn't I promise you? Well, when the proof is there, what did they do? Downplay me. They love jacking because I'm Jack Napier, the jack of all trades, hit the jackpot, stuff my jacket with Jackson Franklin, lit as a jack-o'-lantern, but I ain't the stingiest Jack. Skill of 10, the nightmare before Christmas, Halloween is back. Jackass, my jeans are tracked.
If in case
Are you
anybody
crazy
wants
or something?
I mean, listen. In case
Peace and
anybody
love,
wants to
man.
know,
Peace and love, BDA. Thank you for taking my call, man.
Thank you for calling in, man. Always appreciate it. And in case anybody wants to know more about Shadowban and his theories, you can go check out the Second Renaissance, where we did an exclusive, and I do mean exclusive, interview with Shadowban. And we barely scratched the surface, by the way, of some of the stuff he's talking about. So if you're interested in more of that, go check it out. And Pete, how dare you? How dare you rebuke?
Well, no, I'm saying I think his parents are waiting for him to make a move.
Oh, come on. I'm telling you,
you're killing your parents slowly.
Shadowban. Slowly. All right. What else is gonna say here?
China hater.
China. By the way, he's not
and the
little.
Jews and the China haters. I told you.
I don't think he's little. By the way, he says the little Mexican. I don't think he's that little, man. I've seen him. He looks he's normal sized. Whatever. All right. Let's get serious for a moment here. Gotta go back to Teofimo Lopez here, because he had this to say. Now, Jimmy jumped out. I don't know where he is, but Jimmy, jump on, man. If you got technical issues, let me know, man. But this is what, Regis Progray, Jose Ramirez was a mandatory of some sort for one of his belts. I forget which one. I don't follow that shit anymore. And apparently Jose Ramirez's manager said, no, that's not enough money. And they're going now with Richard Comey, who I think he's 1-1 in his last 3 fights, I believe, something around that. Now, Teofimo Lopez, they were talking about, well, pro-grade Teofimo Lopez, why not? And then Lopez Sr. had this to say.
You have made it clear that Regis will not be next. The money isn't necessarily there right
Listen,
now.
it's not right now. I think that once we beat Josh Taylor or Catterall, because you never know, bro. Catterall, a lot of people thought that he won their last fight.
Anyway, you heard it there. He said, you can play, it's from Fight Hype. You can watch the rest of the interview there. But he's saying, hey, money's not right. The money's not right yet. So they want to go after Josh Taylor. There's a couple of problems with that. Josh Taylor, is injured. And you assume that he still wants to take care of business with Jack Catterall. Number 2, Josh Taylor has said he's long in the tooth now at 140. He's going to move up to 147 one of these days. So what the hell is Josh Taylor? Why is Teofimo Lopez? They've had a hard-on for Josh Taylor ever since before the Kambosos fight. So I don't know what they're talking about. Look, take on Barboza. That's a winnable fight. He would look better in that fight than he did against Zandor Martin, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Shouldn't he start making a move now as opposed to waiting for Josh Taylor?
Cool. Teofimo Lopez make a move?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barbosa, that's a way winnable fight. Because Barbosa don't crack that hard, and Teofimo hits harder than him. So, I mean, that's a safe fight and a winnable fight. Freaking Regis Prograis, I kind of get it. The risk is not worth the reward. Yeah, people, if they fight Regis Prograis, they want to make a lot of money because there's a chance you might lose, right? And the money you earn will never be the same again. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, yeah. Josh Taylor, they probably saw some holes in his game that they think they could exploit. But the guy, he's supposed to fight this other guy, Jack Catterall. His leg is hurt. Then he potentially could be moving up to 47 because he said it in the past. So Teofimo should make a move, at least stay busy, and fight 3 times a year. Maybe fighters better than Pedro Campa for sure. And if he ain't getting the Josh Taylor fight and don't want to fight Prograis, freaking fight the guy you mentioned for sure.
Yeah, Barboza. Man, because
Barboza, yes.
Nobody seems to be wanting to fight Prograis. Now, my question to you guys is, apparently some people are saying that it's because Prograis is asking for too much money and he doesn't bring in money because he was MIA for a while. What do you guys think? Should he take the short money and it is what it is business-wise, or is he in the right for asking for a little bit more?
I mean, Prograis is the champion, so he's probably going to get 60% when he tries to negotiate fights with any fighter. It's not going to be like 50-50. I think they offered Ramirez 35%, and he said that wasn't good enough. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just he got a belt, so I know you're not big into the belts, but I would try to get that belt off of him, because once you get that belt off of him, hey, you got a claim to say I'm a fucking player at 40 with the WBC strap. I think he's got the OG one, the what is it, the highest one for the WBC. He's a super champion.
He's got something.
So I mean, Regis Prograis, he's a good boxer and he's got power, especially to the body, man. So he's pretty well rounded. Yeah, not too many fighters are gonna be like willing to fight him. Hey, but if you beat him, dude, you're the man again.
That's a good point there, Gonzalo. You're right, man. Maybe like belts, and I'm not a big fan of the belts, but these guys, they can make money off of it. They put that shit on the marquee. Hey, world champion. Ooh, some people don't know any better. They think, oh, this guy's actually the champ. And in Regis Prograis' case, I suppose you could say he's number one. Well, I mean, look, until Josh Taylor vacates the division, he's still the champ in my eyes. But nevertheless, yeah, maybe one of these guys should dare to be great and actually take on Prograis and even accept the short money, even if Prograis is not that big a star, whatever. But, these guys, that's the other problem, inactivity. They fight once or twice a year, so they want maximum money for the least amount of fights possible, and that creates another problem. Their inactivity does. So hopefully one of these guys ends up putting on his big boy pants and making something happen. Pete, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's probably especially bad for Tio, the downtime. When you're that age and you just make bad decisions. unless you're working, you're doing something stupid. I don't know, in my experience, especially if you're kind of like into adrenaline or believe me, unless you're working or tired enough to where you got to rest up for something. If you just have free time, it's dangerous. Do a lot of stupid shit, obligate yourself to a lot of stupid shit that you regret later. Spend a lot of money for no reason, which is fine, but get it out of your system. Problem is with him, I don't think Top Rank got that much faith in his. I mean, their match. You can't get any softer than matching him up with what's the guy's name?
Call me.
His last fight? No, his last fight.
Pedro La Roca Campa.
Oh, you're talking about Lopez. Okay, yeah.
No, the last fight he fought was the guy that Mikey Garcia.
Sandor Martin.
Oh yeah, Sandor Martin.
Yeah, they don't get much softer than that. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know. But if he really sits down with somebody, they can explain to him, look, okay, let's the Lomachenko fight, you took what was presented to you, so you won that fight, no problems. I mean, it's not your problem that Lomachenko wasn't hurt. You won by decision. That's all there is to it. Your next fight against the Greek kid, Kambosos, dude, I don't know what you were doing, but you were diving head first into all the guy could do is counterpunch. He's another one. He's like Ruiz, I was saying. That's a guy that if you've seen him against Haney, Kambosos is not going to get into range. You're gonna have to put yourself in his range. You know, dive head first. If you just dive head first, then he can just rear back and throw a counter shot as hard as he can. You're gonna run right into it. So all right, you lost that fight, but look, you could definitely fix that. If you went back again, you could fight that fight different. You could have beat Kambosos. You lost that fight. So what? I mean, the losses that you've taken are totally fixable. It is what it is. If you want to watch the film and take a lesson from it, we can do that. Going forward, let's get a trainer, get a nutritionist in here. You can make 35 easy. You quit saying that you can't. You said you can't make 35 anymore the day after the Lomachenko fight. You said that the day after you're moving up. Then, not only did you make it again, you made it like a year and a half later after teaching Bob Arum a lesson. It took a year and a half. But anyway, you got past that. Now you're listening. Obviously, you're just letting Top Rank do their job, which is match you up. But don't say you can't make 35 because you can make 35. If it was a good fight, you should make 35 if you can. So therefore, let Top Rank do their job. They should get him a sports psychologist. His manager, it's not Tio Senior's job to do all this. It's his manager.
It's a fanager, though.
And so
they
far,
have a fanager. They don't have a. From what I hear, it's not a real manager. It's a fanager. Real quick, man. Real quick. Shout out to Plutonium Loach for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "How can you take someone serious who packs Transformer fudge? Dude is out of his mind." Are you talking about Shadowban? Well, that's one man's opinion, by the way. Shout out to Plutonium Loach for his contribution with the super chat. Transformer fudge. And shout out to LDBC's Most Wanted for his contribution with the super chat as well. It says, saludos. Nobody thought Sandor Martin can crack, and he dropped Teofimo twice. So I think Barboza takes it. Oh, well, that's another good point, though, there. That's another good point. But I think Sandor Martin is a little bit more skilled than Barboza, though. Even though he's not as exciting, obviously. But we'll see what happens, man. Shout out to LDBC's Most Wanted and Plutonium Loach. I want to keep talking about this Teofimo Lopez thing, because I want to ask Jimmy about that as well. But first, we get a phone call here. Let's go to 214. 214, you're in the air. 214, what's on your mind?
Hello. Yeah, about Yarde and Artur. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think people are going to be surprised how Yarde is going to do, because I think Yarde, he really, really wants this. He really wants this, and I think he's going to do better. I don't know if he's going to win. That I'm not sure if I can make a prediction yet. But I think might go the distance. That's my prediction. I think it's going to go the distance. I think Artur is going to win by decision.
Interesting. Finally, we got out of the 5, 6, 7 callers we had. You're giving Yarde a chance, but you don't think he wins, you said?
No, I don't think he wins. I think that Artur, he's gonna outsmart him at spots, and that's going to give him the chance to. That's going to give him the win. But I think Artur, Yarde, he learned something from his losses. I think he's going to do his best, but his best won't be enough. Unfortunately, it happens in all sports. I think he's just going to fall short,
Interesting. All right, I got you down by Beterbiev by decision. What do we call you, caller?
Hello?
Yeah, caller. What do we call you? What's your nickname, name, acronym? What do you want? What do you want us to call you?
Boxing learner.
Boxing learner. All right. Anything else you want to say, learner, before we move on?
Yeah. I want to talk about. You guys are talking about Teofimo. I think both Teofimo and Kambosos can be better fighters than with what they are now. I just think that little by little, they just I think they have to recognize that they're not always right. They're not in the right here, and they need to. I don't know. For Teofimo, I think he just needs to realize that he might need another trainer, or he might need to stop blaming other people and start looking inward.
Yeah, that's solid advice right there, man. That's solid advice right there. They need to get that ego out of the way, which is not always easy for people that are fighting for a living. All right, Boxing Learner, I got your prediction down, and thank you for your call, and call back next time, all right, man?
All right, bye.
All right, take it easy, man. Well, there you go, man. That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that happening, man. I could see Beterbiev not being able to find an opening and just tapping his way to a decision. Hey, Jimmy, let me ask you, man. Everyone's talking about Yarde and Beterbiev. Everyone's breaking that fight down. But the most important question, who got that dog inside of him? Who's got that dog? I think that's one.
The Muslim, the Chechenian.
Oh, all right. Hey, Jimmy, what do you think about that? I don't know if you heard what we were talking about when you dropped off, but I played that clip of Teofimo Lopez Sr. where they asked him, the Regis Prograve, and he goes, it's not right now. It's not right. The money's not there, bro. What do you think? Shoot some of these guys like Prograve. Some people are saying that Prograve is maybe asking for a little bit too much money against some of these guys.
His fucking mouth. 35% isn't right. Listen, that was an initial offer. Let's shut up and negotiate. You know what I mean? You don't like it, but don't come out to the, don't come out, to the crowd, start negotiating in public. You don't like that original offer? Come back with them. And then when you have all these shit lined up, if they then turn you down, if then, things aren't met to your, requirements or whatnot, then you go public if you feel you have to. Say, listen, they offered us what I felt was an insult. I came back what I thought was good. They said no. But, to come back on the first offer and then start bad-mouthing it, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, the fight, they'd be fighting for who's the champion in the is there a champion involved in this, or is this just a open fight?
I believe Prograve has a title.
So if he's the title, I think 35 for T.O. is a little low. I would think 60-40. But I mean, does he really have to go like blowing the fight out of the water for that? Could he have just said, most people expect you to counter. Yeah, no, we'll do it for 40. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll do it for 40 because, again, whether he wants to blame this and say that and the fucking Chinese haters and all that other shit, listen, the bottom line is, dude, you get a loss on your record. So does in fucking Prograis, but he has the title if that's the title they're going for. I know if it went to a purse bid, you'd be lucky to be getting 35% as the non-champion. My point is this, dude, don't let that money fuck up your kid's career again. He has an opportunity. Maybe is it because he doesn't feel he has the confidence? Because Prograis is a fucking, that's a real fight. That kid's a real fighter, you know what I mean? So I think it's a lot to ask. I mean, really, he lost, come back to what Xander, which I don't think anybody looks good against. But it's still affecting him because you got your father over there cashing, writing checks your ass can't cash. Not going to 3 rounds. I'm sorry, I quit boxing. Or I quit training. He says it every fucking time out, but he never actually stops any, in 3 rounds. But yeah, I think the father puts undue pressure on his son with that type of talk and that type of bullshit. Then again, like, I know some people say we could have the father still around on the sidelines if he hired a new trainer. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work out. That's the reason why when they tried that, it didn't work out. Because the father's still going to override everything. And if you push back, he's going to probably punch you in the face in the gym. 70-year-old trainer don't matter. The father would probably start throwing fucking haymakers at him because he's that type of a lunatic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, be realistic about what you're going to ask Teofimo, who ultimately.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, no, because he's not going to get rid of his father. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. It's delicate, man. It's tricky because I mean, you know that he's probably one of the only guys that he trusts, and now, and his manager's supposed to be another one.
And you know what's funny? The wife is telling him the complete opposite. The wife's telling him your father's an asshole, your parents are lunatics, you need to get them out of your life. Because remember, that was the whole thing. Trying to make me choose between my parents and her, you know, my father and her. Like, so you know the fucking she can't stand. I mean, can you really blame her? I mean, even though I think she's a fucking nasty bitch, but listen, he's gonna grow the fuck up, man. And just like, Dad, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're toxic. You cause problems. If you look at most of the toxic shit surrounding Tio, it's not shit that's come out of his mouth. It's him piggybacking or trying to explain what his father said. So for that, I do feel sorry for the kid because you can't pick your parents. You know what I mean?
He's lost.
And
he's just lost.
And I feel bad for the kid over that.
He's in a profession that neither of them got any experience with. I hate to keep harping on this McWhorter guy, but you got him fucking manager. That's exactly what does the dad know about negotiation? I mean, about what's going. It's between the manager and the promoter, and there's and now they extended the contract. I mean, there's a contract for what he knows what he's going to get paid and what he's not going to get paid. So it's like
the old man. He brings a pistol to negotiation. No, Dad, it's not that kind of deal.
Oh, come on, man!
Just in case shit pops off.
Well, come on, man. Yeah, I'm saying. But I mean, you know, Aram's not taking it like personal. He's just like, yeah, if he can go get $10 million, if Triller's going to come in and bid 5x what everybody else is bidding for the fight, hey, God bless. And at the end of the day, it was not only was it just like on the shelf, and I don't know, man. You know, you how about negotiate a contract with your fucking don't get married? It's a fucking contract. It's a problem. If it doesn't work out, it's a fucking issue. And you know, these are just obligations that are not going to be easy to unwind. And so when you get downtime, you get involved with all this stupid shit. So yeah, the mom saying get rid of the dad, so are we kind of, but honestly, if she's going to be a problem, then he's probably he's confused. He's just floating around out there. That's why you could tell where he's at within about 30 seconds of listening to an interview with him. I mean, you brought in just look at history. You brought in a trainer and a nutritionist. You won the Loma fight. I don't care what anybody says. You won. You were successful. Yeah, after that, you made mistakes. You made business mistakes. Your manager did. You made probably personal mistakes financially. You got put a ring on some chick's finger, which isn't the big deal. You could tell her to fuck off and leave, but there's a kid involved, and then there's a divorce. So it's like, it can be a pain in the ass. So go back to what worked. What worked was a trainer. What do trainers get? 10%? What's the fee for a trainer? 10%? Anybody know? 10%?
15.
Okay, 15 fucking percent, man. 15 per fucking percent. I mean, 15% of guaranteed money. It's in their contract, whatever, 5-fight deal, 5-year deal, 1 fight a year, 2 fights a year, whatever it is. Get me in a ring and let me show you that I'm capable mentally to fight Prograis or Taylor. Right now, he's not even mentally stable enough to do that. You see it in his interviews. You know, when he was on the down spot, when he was disappointed, basically, and kind of just like lost during this contract holdout thing. When he could do these radio shows, you could tell he was just like floating. He was just like a boat that was just untied and set out to sea.
He was going to cry
about Zen, and
he was going to cry before the Kambosos fight. He was going to cry before the Kambosos fight. That's what they said on Boxing Scene, that he went in there, he interrupted the previous interview, and he started talking about how he wants to kill somebody in the ring, and he said he felt like he never feels like he's good enough and blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, come on, man. This guy, he's all over the place, man. And in a way, you want a crazy fighter. You want a little crazy is good. That's why I tell my fighters, look, one day one guy came in, he's like, man, they just put me on meds for what? It's like, they think I got schizophrenia. I say, get rid of that shit. That makes you weak, man. And so that's what they got to do a little bit. You got to have a little crazy in you, because that's what fighters do. They're crazy. If you take away their craziness, what happens then? You get a fucking maluk in there. But Teofimo Lopez needs to have the right amount of...
That's built into a 20-something-year-old athlete, though, BDA. That's built into a young guy like that. And you think you You got to go like that. But I'm just saying, like, okay, immediately after the Kambosos, you're in the ring. You know your dad. I mean, if you're in the ring and you went after him like a maniac in round 1, and then you got just a flash knockdown. Let's not get carried away. He just caught you with a flash. You ran right into the punch. You don't got the power to do that if he had just punched you. You know what I mean? Kambosos didn't have the power just to throw a right hand at you, or a left hand, excuse me, and just drop you with it. You dove head first, full speed, into the hardest punch you could throw, and all it did was sit you down. When you come back to the corner and your dad's telling you, "What are you doing? Knock him out. Go after him." Just disregard the shit. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's used to nodding his head and ignoring his dad, so to speak, you know? So, like, fight your fight. As soon as he fought his fight in the 10th round, when Kambosos got tired of counterpunching and displacing, he tried to bang with Teofimo Lopez. He got dropped. You could have won that fight. You just didn't. But so what? Take a lesson from it and go back to what worked. 15% is money well spent for a trainer. Get a trainer. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I mean, look, like I said, he's all over the place right now. He needs to center himself and try to make something happen that way, man, because like right now it's working, but it's probably not going to work out when he steps up in opposition or in competition, rather. So, yeah, man, that's about it for that, man. Well, listen, what else is going to say about that? Hey, listen, they're talking about Tim Tszyu taking on Tony Harrison. So that's a better fight than the Charlo, because I don't know if it was ready for Charlo's power. Tony Harrison can crack a little bit. He's got good skills. He's a smooth operator. I think we're going to see what Tim Tszyu is all about in that one. And so that's what we've got there with him. I don't know when's that taking place. But that's about it for today, man. I think we covered all bases.
Supposedly, Chris Colberg is going to fight Drayo Valenzuela. So I like those type of fights because one guy pretty much goes home. If they don't win, it's like win or lose.
Well, that's what the boxing chief. The other doesn't. That's what boxing chief said a while back. He said he expected the PBC to start burning through the inventory and start getting rid of fighters, thinning the herd. And I think that's a classic fight right there between Colbert and Rayo. He said, okay, whoever loses, get the fuck out of here. Go somewhere else. I mean, that's the way it seems like to me, man. I don't know.
Well, Colbert got that loss too, right?
Right, yeah. I guess.
He was kind of exposed by that the quitter, Garcia.
Is that how you're going to refer to the guy from now on, the quitter?
For the rest of his life. I never want to see him fight again.
Oh,
ever.
Mickey?
Ever. When you see somebody like I cared about, like family, get his brain scrambled, swollen, with the doctor's like, he has the CAT scan. It's like I'm looking at a brain that was in a car accident, hitting a windshield like 40 times, just a facial fractures, and he did it after paying everybody off. Literally, he could have pissed through it in a good party in summer, and to see this fucking dude just, oh yeah, he hit me really hard. I saw blurriness for a minute, but I'm good now. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here.
Wait. I'm sorry, but what? Who said that?
Freaking
Garcia. Hector Garcia.
Yeah.
He quit.
I got you.
Quit. Went to the corner, got hit hard, and didn't like it. And quit. It's not a fighter. He was an athlete who boxed.
I like how you repeated quit, like De Niro in Casino. He's telling Sharon Stone, if you would have taken away my kid again, you would have been dead. Dead. You hear me? Dead. Dead. He just says, like, classic De Niro. That's all he does.
Do you think I would ever let that happen? You ever think
that was awesome.
Yeah. Remember, she's like, what's the big deal? And he's sitting at the dinner table. You fucking hear me? Fucking.
Yeah.
That's the best one. He's trying to contain that anger in public.
Dead. He says it like 3 times just so right. BDA with the memory.
Well, I mean, because that's
one more thing, BDA.
Yes.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, hey, do you think that Teofimo Lopez goes to his dad? They tell me to take a half of one of these for extreme pain. A half. My pills are gone, Dad.
Oh, man. Gazelle, what were you going to say?
Just like the Adam Lopez versus Arthur Abraham, I know they're going to say, oh, man, not Arthur Abraham, fucking Abraham Lincoln, or what's his name? the guy that looked like the Black Abraham Lincoln that fought Adam Lopez. The Supernova.
Oh, okay, yeah. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm fucking confused.
Lincoln was a white guy, by the way.
What's his name?
Abraham Nova is a black guy with the blonde beard.
He looks like Abraham Lincoln. He looks fucking gaunt with that beard.
I get you.
And he's got that. Yeah, he's got the guy dresses up in a big stuffed animal, outfit of him. Yeah, whatever they call him. You know what I mean? Around the ring, guy walks around, a mascot, basically, like you'd see at a football game.
It's those type of fights. Once again, he had lost, so he's in there to win, and Adam Lopez too. He in his mind, he can't continue losing. So the guy that wins moves on to see better days, and the other guy pretty much. Or they get rid of him, or he's still gonna go. If he's not an exciting fighter. But yeah, it's those type of fights, and I'm hoping that I don't know the undercard for the Artur Beterbiev Yarde fight, but I'm expecting for there to be a good fight in between the fight card. So we'll see what happens. I don't know who's fighting, but yeah, the fucking Top Rank delivers, man. I'm always interested in the undercards.
That's a good point, man. They've done some good work in the past couple of months. Now, before we go. No, I want to get some official predictions here. No more prevaricating and I don't know. Let me think about it. No, you've thought about it enough. Beterbiev Yarde. Let's start with the guns. Guns. What's your official?
Yeah, I'm gonna
prediction?
stick to. I said 9th round TKO. Beterbiev, but I wouldn't be surprised if Yarde catches him with a punch, and everybody's gonna be like surprised.
Interesting.
But I'm just going to say that I'm going to say that Beterbiev wins by TKO.
There you go. Jimmy?
Beterbiev stoppage at the 138 mark of the 7th round.
Whoa. Which minute?
138 of the
138 of the 7th round. All right. That's good. That's really
pretty
good
precise.
right there, man.
You said you wanted precise, my friend.
That's right, down to the button right there, man. Pete, prediction time. Oh, come on, he's pretending his mic doesn't work now. He doesn't want to give a prediction. All right, Pete.
Oh,
that's the way you want to play it. You're afraid of making a prediction.
Hold on.
Fine.
What's the prediction on what? Wait.
Beterbiev Yarde.
From what I've seen, I really don't know. I haven't seen Yarde in so long, and Beterbiev. Let's give Beterbiev the stoppage. Let's give it to him in devastating fashion, and let's give it to him in the 8th round. Thank you.
All right, there we go. I can imagine Pete with those Robert De Niro glasses from Casino, which we were talking about, rummaging through his papers, going, "Okay, where did I leave that fucking?"
He's like the broad from Price is Right, who's trying to. What was his lowest? Okay, tries to go right in the middle.
Yeah, $1. No, I'm like De Niro and Goodfellas. I looked into your case. I looked over your papers. I think you got a good chance of beating this case.
All right, man. Well, listen, too much joking around here today. Next episode,
I could tell
Pete
was nervous when I got there. He wouldn't even touch his food. That's a lie.
Why did he have an English muffin? That's what you have when your fucking mouth is dry and you're fucking nervous. You're gonna whack it. Yeah, I'll have an English muffin, cup of coffee. That's my. What's the guy's name? He recently died. Who played the main character in Goodfellas? Liotta. Yeah. I don't know. He's always got that fry. They call it vocal fry. Like he's too relaxed. I don't know. Karen. And then when he gets upset, Karen, why'd you do that? That was all the money we had, Karen. Why would you do that? All right. Listen,
what are you doing, Karen?
He was good in Copland, too, when he burnt up his Puerto Rican girlfriend.
And he was good in Narc. Remember that movie, Narc? That was a good movie.
I've only seen parts of it. I've never seen all of it, man. Yeah, you're right, man. It's Narc, apparently. That's what I hear, man. That's underrated. I'm actually going to watch it right now.
He was good in that.
I'm going to go watch it right now. What do you think about that? Well, listen, fellas, next episode, a little bit more serious. A little bit too much joking around. We're starting to get a little sloppy here. I don't like it. So we're going to have to remedy that. Shout out to everybody that called in. Well, first of all, shout out to all the panelists as well. Shout out to Jimmy, Gonzalo, Pete. Always good talking boxing with you. Well, I don't know if we're going to do anything else before the week in terms of boxing, but well, we'll talk about it. And shout out to everybody that donated the super chat as well. All the callers, you guys know who you are. And everybody in the chat. Oh, I'm talking about Willie Gonzalez, Vince Vegas, Eparokua. Who else was here? Nes Mendoza. That's Mr. Nes Mendoza. Super Sardonic. Hold on a second. I got a Rapax Trucking Company, 2 Matador, Vince Vegas, Alfredo Contreras, Team Batman Boxing, Super Anderson, Aldo in the house as well. Joseph Bono, shout out to him as well for calling. Who else? Pound for Pound King, LDBC's Most Wanted. And if I forgot anybody, it's because we gotta go, all right, fellas? So shout out to you guys. Knockout Net, I can't forget you. Shout out to everybody out there. Catch you in the next one, fellas. Take it easy.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Let me tell you why.
Gonna be all right, Nicky.